serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve without our mind, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Thank you very much. While we remain standing, I'd like to call on QS Adebowale Oyinleye to give us the opening prayer.
Thank you. We give you all the glory, especially, Lord, for making it possible for us to gather here today. Lord, we commit this program into your hands, and we ask, oh God, that you take the preeminence in the name of Jesus. Everything that we do today, Father, let it glorify you, and let it be a blessing to every one of us. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray.
Thank you very much. So, please be seated. We are here to indeed get things rolling for what is said to be another 2 years for WAQSN. For those of us who were here yesterday, at least for the River State chapter of the NIQS, we witnessed the investiture yesterday of QS Ben Woke. So, for WAQSN today, we are going to witness the investiture also. I would like to acknowledge and also bring to the high table the President, NIQS, QS Olayeni Shodabi, FNIQS. A round of applause for him as he makes his way to the high table.
No, you left something. There's still one.
Also, we would like to acknowledge his presence and also call to the high table QS Shegun Ajenle Koko, FNIQS, PPNIQS, and the WAQSN Life Grand Patron. Please, a big round of applause for him. We had yesterday an interesting lecture, an interesting paper delivered by, of course, a former president, NIQS. I would like to call on QS Felix Sukereke Onyeri. Have I seen him in the hall today? Apparently I haven't. Okay, he might be joining us later on. I also like to call on the Vice President, NIQS, QS Bamidele Mafimidiwo. A round of applause for him. You're very much welcome, sir. I witnessed his arrival this morning. It was grand. Also, for those here present who will be joining us on the high table, I would like to call onto the high table. Okay, I took notes. I haven't seen him in the hall yet, so I will skip that until he arrives. I'd like to call on the immediate past chairperson, WAQSN. I'd like to call on QS Aishatu Mohammed. Please, a big round of applause. Madam, you're very much welcome. And also, calling to the high table, I would like to call on the lady who is also one of the major reasons why we are here today. I would like to call on QS PRISCILLA AKABUDIKE, the WAQSN chairperson. Please a big round of applause to her.
You're supposed to call me for.
Half of the WAQSN chairperson, I'd like to call on Mr. Jude AKABUDIKE to please join us here. Please join us here on the high table. You're welcome, sir. Please a round of applause for him. You're very much welcome, sir. The occasion is yours also. When we have other members who are going to be on the high table, we'll call them to the high table, but we'll still like to acknowledge the presence here. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Secretary General, NIQS, QS Rotimi. QS Rotimi, was it Ojelare? Ojelare. Please, Ojelade, please. A round of Chief Asao, a past chairman, QS Chief Asao. Please a round of applause for him also. You're very much welcome, sir. Also, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the DG NIQS Foundation, Dr. Celestina AK. I think I saw her just arrived not too long ago. Thank you very much, sir. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence change to the program for now. Of the first paper, the presentation of the first paper, Exploring the Future of Work and Workplace Culture. Now that paper is going to be presented by QS Otonye Bekengama Ekine, FNIQS, Principal Consultant, Course Masters Associate here in Port Harcourt. Please a round of applause for him.
Good morning. Members of the high table and participants. I'm presenting the paper on the topic Exploring the Future of Work and Workplace Culture. First of all, I want to...
You have the book, the program, and we are going to now have the welcome address by the immediate past chairperson, WAQSN, QS Aishatu Mohammed, FNIQS CCARB. She's going to give us the welcome address.
FNIQS President QS Felix Okereke, FNIQS, past NEC members in our mix, DG NIQS Foundation, Dr. Celestina Eke, FNIQS, WAQSN past chairperson, QS Aderonke Oyelami, FNIQS, WAQSN patron, QS Alabo George, FNIQS. It is with a great sense of fulfillment and gratitude to God Almighty that I welcome you to this great and historic making occasion of the investiture of the 7th chairperson of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria and the swearing in of the WAQSN Executive Committee for the tenure 2021-2023. We are thankful to our Creator for safely bringing us here together after 2 years of successful and memorable stewardship. Indeed, we appreciate His love, gratitude, kindness, and guidance over us. In retrospect, this journey commenced just as the COVID-19 pandemic was starting globally, and the beginning of one of the most challenging periods of human existence. For me and my team, it made the implementation of our objectives and action plan difficult, and it will go on to making the execution of our mandate tasking and challenging to a magnitude that I have ever thought I could handle. It felt like a point of no return, a destination to nowhere. It was a time of uncertainty, fear, worry, and regret of assuming the mantle of leadership at such a trying period. To God Almighty be the glory. We were able to accomplish our plans and deliver our mandate. Even as we wanted to do more, I want to thank my wonderful and supportive executive committee for their doggedness, dedication, and resilience for the past 2 years, and congratulate our new chairperson, QS Priscilla AKABUDIKE, FNIQS, and her executive committee for taking up the responsibilities of steering the ship of the association. I wish you success as you begin your tenure. The theme for this investiture program is shaping a leading culture in the dynamically emerging future of work. The theme aims at providing an in-depth look into the emerging trends impacting culture in our workplace and how women leaders, especially in the construction industry globally, can leverage this insight into to powerfully prepare their organization with a view to inspiring other women for the uncharted journey ahead. The construction industry can be reckoned as an integral part of the development process of any country. Despite the numerous employment opportunities in the industry, it is disturbing and worrisome that women participation is significantly low, scarce, and in most cases limited in Nigeria and globally, with extreme case of gender stratification in recruitment activities within the industry. In Nigeria, research into a leading culture in dynamically emerging future of work as it affects women is very paramount. Hence, this seminar was organized to highlight and give insight into the challenges and the way forward. I trust and believe in the expertise of our erudite resource person in providing us with effective ways of inspiring our women folks for the uncharted journey that lies ahead. I therefore enjoy us all to sit back with rapt attention and enjoy their submission. Thank you for your time, sacrifices. To my elders and professional colleagues, thank you for being there always. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As a welcome address by the immediate past chairperson, QS Aishatu Mohammed. We'll move on now, and we're going to get the opening remarks by the chief host, President of NIQS, QS Olayemi Shonubi, FNIQS, CCARB, MIOD. Please a round of applause for him, the President, NIQS. Opening remarks.
Good morning, everybody. The past president of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, QS Joseph Olusegun Ajanlekuku, he is also the life grand patron for WAQSN. The chairman and keynote speaker, our own QS Alabo Dax George, PhD. I'm sure he doesn't like to be called a doctor because we have so many doctors, whether they are Harvard doctor or traditional doctor. So I think that's why he preferred to have the PhD behind his name, so that you will know that he studied for it. He wasn't dashed. Who I understand might also be delivering the goodwill message on behalf of the special guest of honor. Well, like I said yesterday evening, which I will repeat today, 2023 is sure for a QS in Rivers State by the grace of God and with your support. And I hope all of you have said amen to that.
Amen.
Thank you. The past chairpersons of WAQSN here present, I think it's only QS Aderunke Oyilame that is here. the members of the National Executive Council here present, the Vice President, QS Bamindili Mafimidiwo, the Secretary General, QS Rotimi Ojelade, the Treasurer, QS Paul Anave Jr. I think the Chairman of Bielsa is also a member of NEC, that's QS Gagariga. Permit me and pardon me if I have omitted any other members of the National Executive Council. Past members of the NEC, I can cite QS Depo Oyinleye, QS Ruya Fadasin, who was once a financial secretary of the institute, or secretary, I'm treasurer. Members of WAQSN here present, the newly inaugurated chairman and members of the executive, of the Senate of Rivers State chapter of FNIQS, QS Ben Woke, and the others here present. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me if I have skipped all the other protocols. But let me quickly also acknowledge the presenters, the speakers. I'm sure they've done quite a lot in being able to put their papers together. Let me recognize my brother, QS Otonye Ekine. I may not be able to call that Bekangama, forgive me. My own sister, Professor Kakulu. She's my sister because she's married to my family from Federal Government College, Dodobolu. The husband, Engineer Lawrence Kakulu, was my classmate in secondary school. I'm very close friend up till now. Madam, you are welcome. The Indefatigable Director General of the NIQS Foundation, our own strategic person, resource person, QS Dr. Celestina Nkechi Eke. Maybe I should have put a PhD behind your name, but I will put MNI because I'm sure you appreciate the MNI more than the PhD. Abi? All right, thank you. Then, of course, the man from the ICMS, QS Ruya Fathers. Let me first and foremost congratulate the members of the Executive Committee of the Women Association of Corporate Surveyors in Nigeria for being elected into their various positions, and to say that you have an enormous task ahead of you. I'm looking at this hall and I wonder, it seems divided between men and women. I know this is supposed to be a waxing event, not a maxing event. But it seems as if we have more maxing than waxing. So you now see why you have a lot of tasks ahead of you. A huge task. How do you mobilize our women? It's even better a little bit here because for some cultural and traditional reasons, up north is a little more difficult. I was at the investiture of the chairman of Castina chapter, and I was shocked. I think we had only 3 women who were QSs in that hall. 2 of them were daughters of established quantity surveyors, so you can see why they were there. And then 1, I understand, maybe it's a lecturer in one of the institutions offering quantity surveying in Castina. So you have your work all cut out for you. Why do we reform WAQSN? To encourage the women folk, the female folk into our profession. Most professions are male dominated, particularly in the environment we work. That's construction. But you are already here. So how do you bring in more ladies into this profession? And I think that's, apart from the other ones, which I'm sure your chairperson will reel out, because one of the things we said was, let us have membership drive and engagement. There are probably a lot of more women who are quantity surveyors, who are probably working, particularly in the public service, who are not part of you. How do you bring them in? Let's have more women. Let's also have more women contesting for positions at both the state and national level. I recall that during our retreats, we had only 2 of them. One of them by default, that is your WAQSN chairperson, because she was there by virtue of the fact that, in accordance with our constitution, every chairperson of WAQSN is a member of the National Executive Council. So she was there by default. The only other woman there was the SMCA, Mrs. Oyilami. Although later we were joined by the deputy chairperson from Edo State. So I looked around the world, I said, look, of all of us that are here, maybe we're over 22, we had only 3 women. So how do you want to influence policies of the National Executive Council when you have only 3 people? Although, well, maybe because being women that you are, you still manage to, because I know how your chairperson managed to get all of us in the neck to agree to donate a huge sum of money for her. I'm sure that's also the way she gets her car to bring her money, and then she can go gallivanting all over the place. Well, so you have your, like I said, you have your task all cut out for you. Bring in more women. Let's see how much you can all come together and begin to talk about issues that affect women in their workplaces. Just sexual harassment, the issue of not being given the opportunities because you are women, because of things that you have no control over. So I also expect that you will have seminars and workshops to discuss all these other issues, to help particularly the younger ones who are coming into the profession. Let me just end this my long remarks by thanking most sincerely and deeply Mr. AKABUDIKE for giving us his wife to serve us. Well, I'm thanking him. I should also let him know that he's not the only one. Even I remember Mrs. Mohammed, Madam Aisha Mohammed. Her husband was there in Abuja when he had an investiture. So we showed that a lot of our men folk, we support our women, which is good. Thank you very much, sir. God will continue to bless your home. So on that note, I wish you all a happy celebration, and I hope that the next 2 years, when you invite your grand patron here or to your next venue for your next investiture, the hall will be 90% full of women from all over the country. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. As President NIQS, QS Olayemi Shonibi FNIQS, thank you very much for that. And moving on to the next item, we're going to get the speech by the chairman of the occasion, who also is the keynote speaker today, and that's QS Alabo D. George FNIQS, who I'm told will also, later on, will also be giving the goodwill message for Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Dr. Impalibo Harry Baniu. A round of applause for QS Alabo D. George, one person who has always been here when, of course, NIQS Rivers
capacities. One, to deliver a very brief keynote address, and secondly, to represent my boss, second in command, the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, who is unavoidably absent here. I think I will start by delivering a message in just 2 or 3 lines. She's asked me to express her love to the Women Association of Country Surveyors of Nigeria, and also to apologize for her inability to be here today. However, she said she had a meeting with you a couple of days ago, and she promised to put in appearance in future events that you will have, and also to give you her support as always. You can be rest assured that she does not joke with professionals that are women in every profession. On that note, I want to welcome all of you to this remarkable event, and also to just give a brief remark. It's not going to be on a particular subject matter, but we're talking about shaping a leading culture in a dynamically emerging future of work. And I will talk about 3 key words here. 1, I will talk about disruptive changes. 2, I will talk about culture. And 3, I will talk about intrinsic and extrinsic factors in our workplace that can shape our productivity, that can shape our efficiency, that can shape our success in our workplace. First, I want to say that for a quantity surveyor, you must know that our profession is a sensitive one, just like the accounting profession, and it has to do with character. And therefore, for every quantity surveyor, you must see yourself as an ambassador or a representative of your profession wherever you find yourself to be working. And so character is very key. There are core values you must be able to build. There are key principles you must be able to imbibe and eat with and sleep with as a quantity surveyor. And so I believe in 3, sometimes I expand it to 5 cardinal C's in shaping productivity. The first is something you cannot avoid, is the C. The first C, I'll call it the Christ factor. That is the fear of God. Because if you have the fear of God, you'll be disciplined. If you have the fear of God, integrity will come in and all other things will follow. The next is character. And the third is competence. I won't want to go to the 4th and 5th, which is commitment, collegiality, and all of that. Now, let me talk about character. Character is integrity. Character is what people say you are when you are not there. For a quantity surveyor, if you have competence without character, it amounts to nothing. If you have competence and you have character, it amounts to something. This is the reason why you see a lot of young men and women unemployed. Because those days, in the days of our fathers, they used to go for the other C, competence. Who made first class? Oh, that's the person we want to employ. But these days, they go for character. Who can we trust best? Who can we give this job and go back home to sleep? And so if you don't have character as a quantity surveyor, you can never be indispensable. And when you are not able to make yourself indispensable, it means that you are useless. Because as a quantity surveyor, what makes you marketable is not just your competitive advantage, but your ability to place value on the table. What is your value proposal? What am I doing differently? You must be able to carve a niche for yourself. You must be able to bring forward your value proposal. You must be able to tread those paths that are really trodden. As a quantity surveyor, I learn to practice what I preach. And what I always preach is, as a blue ocean strategist, is that you must always carve a niche for yourself. You must always develop a blue ocean in the red ocean. I am one of those quantity surveyors that do not believe that 90% of the practice of quantity surveying should dwell around building. Of course, I am not one of those. I believe that quantity surveying is so wide that a quantity surveyor can never say he has nothing to do. There is electrical quantities, there's mechanical quantities, there is heavy engineering, there is civil engineering, there's even renewable energy. I believe you cannot cost what you don't know how to construct. And therefore, construction technology, your knowledge in construction technology is very important. You must try to deepen it. Because if you don't have the knowledge of how to construct a thing, I don't think you can cost it very well. I don't think you can manage it very well. So it's very, 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 very important. Let me just digress a little bit. You may treat, as a consultant, you may treat a building project and prepare a BOQ, for instance, you know, and maybe a 100-page bill of quantity. And your ETC at the end of the day is about 5 billion. A civil engineer somewhere who is not an estimator, but tells you he knows how to do civil engineering quantities, prepares a BOQ. There's nothing like BEME, by the way. Yes, there's nothing like BEME. Bill of quantities is bill of quantities, whether it's civil engineering bill of quantities, whether it's electrical engineering bill of quantities, there's nothing like BEME. In my office, you can never bring any document and call it PEME. I would hear it. It is bill of quantities. I don't know what they're afraid of. But you see, you can't talk to the civil engineer toughly when you are not well prepared. Success is an intersection point between preparedness and opportunity. So as a quantity surveyor, you must also sharpen, your sword in the area of civil engineering quantities to be able to challenge, a civil engineer who wants to do that. And so he does a BOQ of about 10 pages, and the ETC is about 25 billion naira. And it tells you he's the principal consultant. Calculate your fees for doing that 100-page BOQ, and calculate his fees for doing that 10 or 15-page BOQ without pains. There are two things in civil engineering. Then there's the design aspect, there's the costing aspect, there's the geotechnical aspect. There are many parts of it. So the point I'm trying to convey to you here is that as a quantity surveyor, you must try the best you can to be versatile. You must be versatile. I can tell you, after designs in the bureau that I had, after designs, I don't even think we need a civil engineer again, because we have quantity surveyors that are competent enough to supervise civil engineering projects to completion with 100% perfection. We have them, and we still have more coming up, and we are still training more and more and more. So don't allow a civil engineer to intimidate you and take your job. That is one. And so we are still talking about competence. Preparedness is still competence. Constant development and redevelopment of yourself, adding knowledge every day is still development. It's still tending towards competence. So once you have competence and you have character, then I think you are ready to be a practicing quantity surveyor. Not just a quantity surveyor, a quantity surveyor that will be in high demand. What will you feel like? You're given a job to do. The contractor calls you aside. Say, this thing is supposed to be 1.2 billion. Work on the rates now. Adjust the quantities now. Make it up to 2 billion. And the client looks at the BOQ and says, this thing looks high. And he gives it to one private person somewhere to check and cross-check. And they find out that you've adjusted that estimate. That is a big scar and a big stain on your personal reputation and your corporate reputation. And it will take you several years, if not a lifetime, to build it back. It takes a lot of time to build character and corporate reputation, but it takes just a second to lose it. And so that is very, very, very important. I think that is the major message I've come here to convey to you all. I mustn't just sit down without talking about the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors of Nigeria. I want to join my president here to also employ you to go on more aggressively with your mobilization of the female folk in our profession to ensure that in subsequent events you grow numerically more than we are seeing now. I want to first of all commend you. You've done very well. Even the outgoing chairperson, you've done so very well. But I want to encourage you to do better than this. And I want to assure you that in your next event, I'll give you 10 times more support. Because taking this as a challenge, I'm a veteran too. I will confer with my father here to ensure we'll give you 10 times more support, so that we'll get 10 times the number we are seeing here. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, QS Alabo George, FNIQS. Of course, he gave a few lines of goodwill message from the special guest of honor, Her Excellency Dr. Ebalibo Haribanigo, before going on to also tell us a few things. Now, before we move on to the citation and investiture of the incoming chairperson, permit me, we'll have a goodwill message from the patron NIQS, University Chapter, QS Chief Ferdinand Alabraba, which will be delivered by QS Chief Asawo here present. Please a round of applause for Chief Asawo.
Deliver a goodwill message on behalf of Chief Ferdinand Alabraba, JP, DSS, ROS. Every eye is Chief Alabraba, not myself, please. It's dated 21st February 2022. Goodwill message. QS PRISCILLA, AKABUDIKE, FNIQS. I send you warm felicitations on the occasion of your investiture as the 7th chairperson of the Women Association of Apprentice Surveyors in Nigeria and the inauguration of the 2021-2023 Executive Committee of the Association. I congratulate you and your team for emerging as the new leadership of WAQSN. And I have no doubt that WAQSN will continue to work stronger and bring more pride to the profession. I assure you that I remain a good friend of WAQSN and will continue to support you in your activities. Let me use this opportunity to thank and especially greet the Honorable Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Ebalibo Haribanigo, DSS RS, who is the special guest of honor of this auspicious event. QS Alaba George, FNIQS, DHD, the Chairman keynote speaker, and QS Olayemi Shonubu, FNIQS, the chief host, natural president of the Nigerian Institute of Apprentice Surveyors, and indeed, all the distinguished resource persons. I greet you all very, very warmly. Chief Alabraba, FNIQS, DSSR, signed. Thank you.
State, QS Chief Ferdinand Alabraba. We're also going to take another goodwill message, but this time around, to be coming in from the live patron WAQSN, and that's going to be QS Shegun Ajane Koko, PPNI QS, President Castle. He's a live grand patron WAQSN. He'll be giving us a goodwill message. A round of applause for him, please.
I must say, and I still want to congratulate him for steadfastly progressing within the profession to the point where he is where he is today. He is what he is today. Congratulations on your PhD as well. And he has held forth for the WAQSN over many years. That is a credible record and to keep. The past, immediate past of WAQSN, I used to say, if there's anyone who pestered me most among the WAQSN chairperson, it's Mrs. Aisha Mohammed. She is always calling on me all the time when she was in office. And she has that passion for the WAQSN. And I hope that will be transferred to the incoming chairperson, Mrs. PRISCILLA AKABUDIKE. And they say now we call them first man, who is sitting here. You can see that he has done a lot of work for to keep Our Lady where she is. All members of the Executive Council here present, both FNIQS and WAQSN. It is always, for me, a joy to come to occasions where quantity surveying is taking place. Quantity surveying has been my bread and butter so many years ago. Maybe I'll be nearly 40 years in practice in the next 2 years, and that's a long time. WAQSN too suddenly has grown phenomenally. It was a little mustard seed that was sown 2004 when I was exiting as president, and that's over almost 20 years ago. 30, is it? 2004, sorry, 18 years ago. And the kind of achievement they've attained is beyond what we thought is possible. But we knew then that setting up the women will embolden them and it will help them to come out dynamically and be themselves. And today, globally, women are in the lead everywhere. Today in the world, we find that there are like 8 or 10 presidents of formidable countries who are women. So having set up WAQSN was not out of place. It was futuristic that the women would be in the vanguard of leadership of professions. And it's happening in all the built environment bodies. In the current, they are like the wildfire of NSC, Nigerian Society of Engineers. And for the first time too, they are going to have the first female president in the next 2 years, Mrs. Margaret Oguntala. When I met her, I was president of Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, and she was assistant secretary. But she was so dutiful, so committed, even more than the general secretary. So I called her behind. I said, look, the way you are working, don't rest on your oars. Continue to work like that. One day you become president of Nigerian Society of Engineers. And it has happened this year. So what am I pointing out is that hard work has a reward. Tenacity of purpose has a reward. And WAQSN must continue to forge ahead with the way and manner they are going. Succession is going smoothly well, and the right people are being selected. You must not be sentimental about leadership. Leadership is about quality. It's about the right square peg in a square hole. And as long as you put the right people there, you'll continue to make progress. I want to congratulate you today. I will continue to be there. And the key, the theme for today's investiture is very, very germane to future of the professions in the built environment and in quant surveying. I'll be in Kenya in 2 weeks' time, and it's future of the profession and consultancy they want me to come and speak about. And I was saying, as I was preparing for it, I said very soon, maybe we just need, as QS, we don't need to go to site, we just send drone there, go and look at what has been happening there and come back to give us a report. Or we said the robotic, go around and see whether the area they said is 40 square meter is really 40 square meter. That's the future that is coming. And don't let us kid ourselves. The future is now. It is coming so fast. So taking a topic like the future of work is very relevant today. And of course, with the dynamics of digital world, less number of staff will be needed. And we must accept that. So we need to change skill. And the skill that we change does not require you to even have a degree anymore. It is that skill in the digital world that will dictate how relevant you become. So as we move on in this 21st century, I want us to consider what really will the WAQSN put on the table of NIQS. Challenge the NIQS, challenge the built environment, and I wish you all the very best as you do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As the live grand patron WAQSN at Segun Ajale Koko, PPNIQS, is also President Castle. Now we're going to move on to one of the key moments for today's event, and it's going to be the citation and investiture of the incoming chairperson. I would like to call on QS Bukola Aluko Olokun, the Deputy Chairperson WAQSN, as she will be reading the citation before the investiture is done. So I'd like to call on QS PRISCILLA, and of course Mr. Jude, her husband, to join her as we have the citation read.
PRISCILLA AKABUDIKE was born some years ago in Ibadan, Oyo State. She hails from Ngo Opala in Imo State and the only female child in a family of 5 children. She attended C&S New Hidden Primary School to Bodija, Ibadan, from 1983 to 1987. She proceeded to Mount Olivet Grammar School, Bodija, Ibadan, in 1988, and later to Our Lady of Apostles, Mary Way Oduona, Apata, Ibadan, where she obtained her senior school certificate in 1993. Her career ambition has no correlation with the built environment, but after a career counseling session from a mentor, Dr. Livingstone Eke, former Dean School of Industrial and Applied Sciences, Federal Polytechnic Mekede, Owerri, her career aspiration changed to study quantity surveying at the same institution where she obtained the Higher National Diploma in the year 2000. She is one of the 3 females in her set. Due to her quest for self-development and current job responsibilities, she proceeded to the College of Contract Management, United Kingdom, and earned a postgraduate diploma in professional practice in contract management. PRISCILLA is a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors and a registered member with the Quantity Surveyors Registration Board of Nigeria. She is a member of Project Management Institute and a project management professional credential holder, and has continued to distinguish herself to excel professionally. She works as a quantity surveyor and a change order administrator at ABN Offshore Limited, an engineering and fabrication services company for the oil and gas sector, and the only female quantity surveyor working in the company for over 10 years. She has handled major EPC projects and duly involved in project monitoring and reporting, contract and claims administration, remeasurement of as-built drawings, and final account preparation. PRISCILLA has served the Institute and WAQSN in various capacities. She is the current council member, African Association of Quantity Surveyors, AKUS. She is the deputy chairperson, Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria between the year 2019 to 2021. She was also part of the team that represented QSRBN at the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing virtual workshop on the introduction of a subsection of gas piping into the Nigerian National Building Code. That was in 2020. She participated in the NIQS ICPC Constituency Project Tracking Group, second phase, South Zone in Port Harcourt. This was also in 2020. She has served in the NIQS Marketing and Corporate Affairs Committee between 2017 to 2019. She was the WAQSN Social Secretary in 2015 to 2019. She was the Editor-in-Chief of WAQSN Herald 2018 to 2021. And she has served as the Financial Secretary and Treasurer of NIQS River State Chapter in 3 tenures, 2009 to 2011, 2011 to 2013, to 2019 to 2021. Developing strong relationships is the foundation of everything she does. both professionally and personally. As a result of the career counseling session that made a great impact in her career, she joined with other tutors in FNIQS Rivers State chapter to organize preparatory classes for candidates of FNIQS professional examinations. All efforts have paved way to the successes experienced, especially for the women in attaining professional status. Outside of the office, she enjoys traveling for leisure, and when not traveling, she bonds with family and friends. She is happily married, and the union is blessed with 4 children. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 7th chairperson of WAQSN, Q.S. PRISCILLA AKABUDIKE.
Can I have all the past chairpersons of WAQSN here with me? Why should I recognize QS Kolade? You want me to know who is around? How can he come in so late? Who allowed him to enter this hall? Yes. The oath of office. The oath of office. The oath. You have done very well. You've been able to organize the WAQSN such that the WAQSN is waxing stronger. I think it's about time for you to take your bow by giving us back the senior of office. As she does that, can we put our hands together for her? For a wonderful tenure and for making sure that WAQSN still remains strong and is waxing stronger. So, we will now go over the oath of allegiance for the investiture of WAQSN chairperson.
I, PRISCILLA AKABUDIKE,
as the chairperson of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors of Nigeria,
as the chairperson of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, WAQSN,
aka WAQSN, do solemnly swear affirm as follows.
Do solemnly swear and affirm as follows.
That I will discharge my duties.
That I will discharge my duties.
And perform my obligations and functions honestly.
And perform my obligations and functions honestly.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
And faithfully in accordance with the Constitution.
And faithfully in accordance with the Constitution.
Code of conduct.
Code of conduct.
Ethics of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors.
Ethics of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors.
And the bylaws of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors of Nigeria, WAQSN.
And the bylaws of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, WAQSN.
That I will obey the rules and regulations of the association.
That I will obey the rules and regulations of the association.
That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives.
That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives
contained in the Constitution and bylaws.
Contained in the Constitution and bylaws
of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors of Nigeria, WAQSN.
Of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, WAQSN.
That I will not allow my personal interest.
That I will not allow my personal interest
to influence my official conduct.
To influence my official conduct.
Or my official decisions when called to any duty.
Or my official decisions when called to any duty.
That I will abide by the ethics.
That I will abide by the ethics.
And the professional code of conduct.
And the professional code of conduct.
Of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors.
Of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors.
That I will give my honorable colleagues.
That I will give my honorable colleagues.
And seniors.
And seniors.
Due respect and gratitude.
Due respect and gratitude.
I make these promises.
I make these promises.
Solemnly.
Solemnly.
Freely.
Freely.
And upon my honor.
And upon my honor.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So, by the powers conferred on me as the President of the Nigeria Institute of Quantity Surveyors, I hereby confer on you and install you as the chairperson for the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, WAQSN, for 2021 to 2023, to the glory of God and the services of women quantity surveyors in Nigeria. Don't be shy. I think you will do why we are not there. Congratulations. Now it is your turn to now do your first task by calling out.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know you have your own whatever. So the outgoing chairperson will now be decorated by our own past chairperson. That's immediate to the power of 2. Will now decorate the immediate.
Thank you.
Well, you are now an elder, so that you allow the young ones to, so that you don't want to see grandmas again.
Ladies and gentlemen, standing on existing protocol, this time I need to swear in my executive committee. We appreciate all of you for coming to be with us. And on the first list, we have the Deputy Chairperson, QS Bukola and Olokun. Kindly. Our able secretary, General Secretary, is unavoidably absent. She is QS Ololade Shokoyam. We have QS Dr. Noti Adebiyin, Research and Development Secretary. We have QS Whitney Ufoma Ugo, our Treasurer. QS Ojishola Aluko, Financial Secretary. We have QS Mary Eruwetere, Publicity Secretary. QS Mary Gowan, Social Secretary. The zonal coordinators are still part of the executive committee. I will call out the zonal coordinators. QS Priscilla Okeke, zonal coordinator North 1. Sorry, I omitted. Our Assistant Secretary, QS Mabel Ajakaye. Sani, Zonal Coordinator, North 3, North 4. QS Nenda Mwafom, South 3. QS Emily Ekide, Zonal Coordinator, South 4. QS Karamot Olawenyu, Zonal Coordinator, West 1. QS Yinka Abiza, Zonal Coordinator, North 3. QS Aisha Shehu Isam, Zonal Coordinator, North 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the Executive Committee, WAQSN Executive Committee work will be taking their oath of office. As an executive member of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, do solemnly swear and affirm as follows. That I will discharge my duties and perform my obligations and functions honestly to the best of my ability and faithfully in accordance with the Constitution Code of Conduct, Ethics of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, and the bylaws of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria. That I will obey the rules and regulations of the association. That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives contained in the Constitution and bylaws of the association of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria. That I will not allow my personal interests to influence my official conduct or my official decisions when called to any duty. That I will abide by the ethics and professional code of conduct of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors. I will give my honorable colleagues and seniors due respect and gratitude. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. So help me God. Mr. President, P.S. Olaya Mishonobi, I present to you WAQSN Executive Committee for the tenure 2021-2023. By the grace of God, we will do our best. Thank you, sir. Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria and inauguration of the 2021-2023 WAQSN Executive Committee WEC. It is a great honor to welcome you all to this special occasion of my investiture as the 7th chairperson of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, WAQSN, and the inauguration of the Executive Committee for the next 2 years. It is with a deep sense of humility and immense gratitude to God that I stand before this gathering of erudite professionals and personalities to make this speech. First of all, I want to give honor to whom honor is due, our God Almighty, for making this day a reality. My humble appreciation goes to our special guest of honor, Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Dr. Mrs. Kalibo Harry Banigo. She really accorded us with a warm reception at the Government House on Monday, 21st February 2022, when we paid her a courtesy call. My appreciation also goes to the President, the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, P.S. Olaya Mishonobi, and the National Executive Council for their evergreen support when WAQSN is in need. I want to especially thank our amiable WAQSN patron, Q.S. Alawad George, FNIQS, for the immense support he gave WAQSN towards the success of this event. I'm also humbled by the presence of WAQSN Life Grand Patron, QS Joseph Ajale Koko. Past President present here, WAQSN patron and patroness,
and NIQS River State Chapter, our host chapter. My Honorable Past WAQSN Chairpersons, QS Mercy Yote, QS Adekemi Okusaga, QS Gloria Enen, QS Professor Lubola Babalola, QS Aderenko Oyelami, and QS Aisha Mohammed. I thank you all for giving me this privilege and honor to steer the affairs of this great body. I also want to appreciate the presence and contributions of everyone towards the success of this event. By the grace of God and in full cognizance of the tasks before us, I and my executives reiterate our commitment to lead the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria to the best of our ability. We will continue to build on the wealth of knowledge laid down by our predecessors, and trusting that with the help of God and with the support of all stakeholders, we shall achieve more success. We acclaim that we are ready with new hopes to bring out the best in our members, which is surely going to be the most unforgettable and precious moment for WAQSN. WAQSN as a professional body as well as a gender-related association has carefully chosen this theme, shaping a leading culture in the dynamically emerging future of work. As work and the workforce changes, companies need new approaches to attracting, developing and retaining talent, as well as building strong cultures that will empower employees and drive performance. We all know that a positive workplace culture attracts talent, drives engagement, imparts happiness and satisfaction, and affects performance. Our goal is to continue to empower women to break through the barriers and create opportunities inside our organizations, within our communities, and across our industry. We cannot overlook the challenges we face, nor can we let them limit us. If there is one thing we can all agree on, it is that the world of work is changing as quickly as the pandemic resets major work trends. In order to fill the skills gap and inspire our members for the uncharted journey ahead, our action plan shall be, but not limited to the following: capacity building. In line with our parent body, the NIQS agenda on rebranding roadmap, we will assist in developing our members' hard skills. The immediate past administration has started with the EQS software to aid in the speedy performance of our core roles. We also exploit other trainings on Primavera, Microsoft projects for planning and scheduling of projects, Plan Suite, which is a digital takeoff software, and infographics design. These are good skills to own. We need to be tech savvy as the world of work is changing. We also have our vocational skills acquisition, which we will try to build on. Being a professional QS should not limit us to acquire additional skills. We will exploit trainings in skills acquisition to bring in additional income in line with the Quantity Surveyors Registration Board of Nigeria agenda on diversification. We also intend to look into our corporate social responsibility projects, which was called due to lack of funds. The purpose of the CSR is to give back to the community, take part in philanthropic causes, and provide positive social value. This is a way of marketing the QS profession also, and it will put indelible mark on NIQS and WAQSN. We shall also continue to affiliate with like-minded professional bodies to partner with for our continuous growth. We also project our image at the African Association of Quantity Surveyors, AAQS Forum, in which I am a current council member. There shall be more advocacy visits as we are still being misrepresented by the media and government agencies and parastatals about our core values and expertise. We shall make great efforts to recognize firms and individuals who have made great contributions to the growth of female quantity surveyors, encourage and reward best female candidates in the Institute's professional examination, and best graduating female students. Inter-school debates among female quantity surveying students in tertiary institutions shall be sustained. This was initiated in March 2019 by QS Aderonke Oyelami, a past WAQSN chairperson. It is with the view to enlighten and broaden the knowledge of the female students in the tertiary institutions, both in gender-related matters as well as in their choice of quantity surveying as a career. We believe in actions, and as the year rolls by, we will unfold more. We encourage everyone to key into WAQSN Action Plan for maximum results. It is not only for WAQSN, but all quantity surveyors and colleagues in the built environment. At the various states of the Federation, WAQSN has grouped her members into zones based on their location, ably anchored by zonal coordinators, for members to interact closely with one another. We encourage all female members to identify with their zones. Let's increase our numerical strength. Identify with your zones, come out, bring up suggestions and ideas to improve on the legacies laid down by our elders and past chairpersons. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I at this juncture, on behalf of the newly inaugurated WAQSN Executive Committee, express our gratitude to everyone for making this event worthwhile. My sincere appreciation to the Deputy Chairperson, who is the Chairperson of the Local Organizing Committee, QS Bukola Alukologun, and the committee members for taking time out of their busy schedules to put this event together. I am completely overwhelmed by the turnout and show of love. God bless Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria. God bless Nigeria Institute of Quantity Surveyors. God bless Rivers State, our host state. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Once again. And before we proceed to the next stage, which will basically be a break before we go to the second part of this event, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the chairman, NIQS River State Chapter, QS Ben Woke, who's joined us here. Please, round of applause for him. And also, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of QS B HAQ FNIQS. He's the chairman, FCT Chapter. He's also present with us here. We shall be embarking on a 15-minute tea break, and after that... Okay, apologies, before we go on that tea break.
For each and every executive member that served in the 2019-2021 Executive Committee. QS Priscilla AKABUDIKE, our newest WAQSN chairperson. Thank you for serving in the 2019-2021 Executive Committee. Thank you. Our past chairperson, QS Aderonke Oyelami, SMCA. Thank you. QS Ololade Sokoya, she's not here. QS Mabel Ajakai, Assistant Secretary General. Sorry. Thank you. 2019-2021. Thank you for serving the council.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
This will take time. Annette, okay, Publicity Secretary. QS Whitney Ufoma Ugo, Social Secretary. Okay, she's coming. She's coming. QS Dr. Ranti Adebi, Research and Development Secretary. Thank you for the support. QS Mary Gowon, Zonal Coordinator, North 1. Thank you for always being there. QS Zipporah Maishanu, Zonal Coordinator Not 2. QS Yinka Kingsley Otaru, Zonal Coordinator West 3. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the support. Thank you.
Thank you.
QS Bumi Otunola, Zonal Coordinator West 2. Is that here? QS Karamot Olaoyi. Yes, Zonal Coordinator West 2. Thank you for the support. Thank you. QS Mary Momo. QS Mary Momo, Zonal Coordinator South 4. Yes.
One. Thank you very much.
QS Naomi Oguzo, Zonal Coordinator South 3. I'm sorry for murdering your names. Oguzo. Okay. Thank you for the support. QS Dr. Uchechi Alinta Ebel, Zonal Coordinator South 2. QS Glory Umo, Zonal Coordinator South 1. QS Rekia A. Garba, Zonal Coordinator North 4. QS Victoria H. Gia, Zonal Coordinator North 3.
Happen as swiftly as possible.
Finance.
And suddenly you're inside, holding hands as you walk along. She's considering me that's with my mother and me.
Person calm. When you see her, you will not know the content she has until when you engage with her, you will now discover that she's somebody. She's somebody. I know without doubt that she's going to take the women to the next level.
Any area that you want her to look at?
Yes, I want her to look at women participation. Yes, I want her to, apart from county surveying, I want our women to go into the real politics of Nigeria, not only in county surveying. Where she is now will give her a difference to that point where we are talking about. She has good leadership qualities. When you want to push her aside, she doesn't agree. That's one thing about her.
Your name again?
My name is QSB Dinana Ijebu.
Thank you very much. Okay, sir. What with the investiture of new chairperson of WAQSN, what do you think the future and what are you expecting from the human wing of country surveying?
Like I said at my goodwill message, it's the women are gradually becoming the engine room of professional development. So, and they've chosen the right leader, a lady who is IT compliant. So I expect them to lead the institute in the field of IT technologies and doing smart work with digital age. And I know that the future is well guaranteed with them. They'll forever be ahead of others within the membership of the institute. So I think they will take a leadership position that we have foreseen 18 years ago, that when they come, they will do that which will help the men to continue to move forward. And they are doing that. And with the new leadership, I think she will take the WAQSN women to a new height.
What do you now think is the future of the quantity survey?
The future lies in digitalization. Anyone who wants to be in the profession now must be technology, because the future is technology driven. And if you are not compatible with new innovations and new skill, you would be relegated to the background. But with FNIQS is doing well because we have reciprocity with so many international organizations, and so we can bring to bear within the country experiences from other professional colleagues outside who are moving along the digital age. So the future is bright for the profession, but a new skill had to be learned to become relevant.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
With this investiture of new chairperson, women will this on. What are you expecting, and what do you think is the future of quantity survey in Nigeria, the human aspect of it?
Well, within the investiture of the chairman of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors, as well as inauguration of the executive committee that we work with her, and from what I have seen so far, both from the organization and the preparations towards this event, I'm convinced that this particular executive committee will go a long way and they will do wonders. I'm not doubting the ability to perform a ceremony, and also the fact that with the way they have started with one of the agenda of the new chairperson to mobilize the women folk, I know that in the future we will have more women participating in as quantity surveyors. Because yes, it's not only the quantity surveying as a profession, it's also a late entrance into the construction process in Nigeria. And has always been seen as a male-dominated profession. But with the activities of some of them, don't forget that if the Nigerian quantity surveyors had a woman president way back about 8-9 years ago. And so she had also opened the floodgates. Incidentally, she was also a past chairperson of the Women Association. So with her feet, I'm sure a lot of them now see that the sky may not even be their limit, might be their stepping stone or the starting point. Because they see that as far as quantity is concerned, we can get to any position they desire. And like I said, with our success too, she has her own firm, she's established. They also have seen that it's possible for a woman to have a practicing firm and thrive. So yes, for me I think the future is very bright.
Now, what's your advice for the upcoming female students or female students? What do you want them to look at? What do you want them to look into? And what do you expect them to do?
Yes, like what surveying is a very noble profession. It's meant for people with high integrity. And if you search around, you know that generally women are more they have more of integrity fiber than most men, and if they are convinced about certain things, they stand by it and do it. And So yes, it's a profession that I believe that any woman, any young female should get into, particularly those who are interested in construction. Because, like I said, the noble one is one of that demands high integrity from its practitioners. And so, for any woman who has high integrity, yeah, that should be the way to go. And not only that, my advice for the young and upcoming ones will be follow the paths of the elders, the people, the women who have been there before, and listen to them. I know there are still some challenges with women because generally, not only one survey, but I think in the country, and I think in our society generally, there's always this bias against women. But I believe all of that is opening up. So, like I said earlier, I just see that in the coming years, as more opportunities become open for one survey generally, the women may likely have a better opportunity because as it is now, even it seems as if you have more women who are studying these intricate professions than men. And I see that expanding further in the years because one, they are calmer, and somebody who is calm, they have high integrity. So, yes, more likely I will see most women, most young ladies getting attracted to study medicine.
Sometimes you don't know, and sometimes even how to even operate the equipment, they don't even allow you. Sometimes I even used to hear, or some we used to joke there. Now, just after the industrialization era, we have the digitalization era, which is the era where we are now, where everything has now gone digital. The way work used to be, now it's the digital revolution has taken over. You can sit in your house and communicate with somebody that is far away without even you. Taking the stress of traveling abroad to going over to meet the person. Now you can take up your phone and you make a phone call, and someone that is miles away will speak with you as if you are in front of the person. That's the age where we are now. And it's improving. It's getting more and more less advanced. During this era also, we also now started seeing where automation and thinking machines are gradually taking over what we used to. What the physical what we used to be done manually. Like our father and our past president just said earlier, that we start seeing robots going to work as if they are doing work that humans used to do manually. And one good thing about this era is there are certain works that were so confined and so risky. And this has been able to creating robots is also a way to also help such situations where you have confined spaces, and in the past it used to be humans that used to go there to take that risk and do that work. Now you can send in robots and they will go in and you can control all that and the work will be done and it gets better. Now, at this same era, towards the end, towards some few, I think that's 2 or 3 years ago, we had the experience of COVID. Before COVID came, I believe all these virtual sessions that is now very rampant now used to be there. But many of us don't see it as being, how do I put it now, or we don't see it as being too effective. But the COVID era gave us I would say, open up our eyes to let us see that you can still work virtually. You can stay in your house and you do your work. You can communicate, you can even do meetings with several persons across the whole nation, even over the globe. It was possible. It became more common. Some companies even had to tell their office workers to work from their house. And gradually this is now leading us to where the future work, leading us to where the future of our work culture. Also, during the COVID era, we also saw that many organizations have to organize, adopt new strategies to still make sure that the organization still keeps doing what they are expected to be doing, irrespective of the fact that they don't enforce that physical presence in the office and all that. Then, looking at the future, what does the future suggest? We are moving from a period of this is how industrial age, this is how we've been doing it. And we need to also, we need to look at that the way it's going now, if we're not being innovative, it will be difficult for us to continue. Because there are certain things that it's not how you've been doing it. You have to come up with good, a more realistic approach to the fact that, for example, I'll tell you, if I ask how many of us know what they call cut and shuffle sheets, I believe many of our young QS haven't heard that word, cut and shuffle sheets. But those are the sheets that we used to take off in the past. And now we're talking about using online screen measurements, and the future is only, it will keep on getting more sophisticated and more robust. So the future, we have to change our mindset from the industrial thinking that I have to come to work 9 o'clock, I have to close 5 o'clock, this, from normal, I must be present physically, I must be in the office, I must sit, I must do, to how will the work be done wherever you are. You can even be in your closet, as long as the work is being done and you're achieving results. That's the key. It's not work. Also, a seminar one was done in 2021 by Philip Consulting, and the outcome of these two researches were not far from each other, and it tends to it's more like taking a look at where we are, where we're coming from, where we are, and what are the trends that we will see moving forward. We were able to come up with some potential future wars in their own opinion, which are also available. I think it's also interesting that we also look at it. And we will have more, we will come up with more other areas of what's future will look like. Now, Africa is, so Nigeria especially is growing. But the rate we're going in the next 10-20 years, we may be, present I think we're about 6th or 7th in the world. Due to some great developing countries are beginning to show tendencies that yes, they are becoming economic power. Before, you used to think of America, China, so other countries are beginning to come up, from the side. And pick your phone and call somebody that was in America. There in our days, we used to have this box that you must die green before it goes through. Check the number of years from then to now and see from now to this number of years, and you see what kind of assets and what kind of community, at the level of this technology will have gone. So it's like a thing. They hope to come up with 4 suggestions, and they divided it into 4 different ones after this slide. The second one they said is the blue wall, and where corporate is king. Then we have the green wall, the conflict years, and the yellow wall, human construct. That we have to innovate. Yeah, we have to take advantage of the advanced technology. Core skills. It shouldn't be, this is the path that will be taken. You must always take that path. No. There are ways you can, with the available technology and with the putting all their focus to build a brand. NIQS should be a brand. That's, if you want to call point surveyors, you should be able to say, oh, NIQS. It gets how I put it, that everybody knows about you. You don't need to introduce yourself anymore. You're a brand that people looking for people who start even calling engineers. So here we have to think of how do we focus on being efficient, you know, getting us to build a brand that will become a world class. Make the working environment so conducive that the workers will feel I am home. It's becoming green and renewable energy, and how just to focus about humans coming first, where we need to invest in our employees, invest in our workers. Yeah, skill sets will have to be improved. Yeah, you have to see the workers as your assets. They become your brand ambassadors. You will see they will be the ones to push through the organization. That's where anywhere you see them, they are seeing the organization. They are now like, as an institute, as a profession, and we prepare our practice players. And we prepare our professionals, our graduates, because it has to do with everybody. Everybody has to put their hands on the board. You have to be prepared, because we are still being in jet age. So we have to get prepared, prepare ourselves, upgrade our skills, open up new areas, look at new frontiers.
Very much. That was the paper Exploring the Future of Work and Workplace Culture by QS Ekine. Now, the big questions he asked at the end concerned after the entire papers have been presented. Just for everyone to know, the speakers are given 20 minutes and for their papers. The next paper is going to be Leveraging on Intersectionality in the Workplace. Now, this paper is going to be presented by Professor Iyenemi Idimina Kakulu. She's of the Department of Estate. Professor Iyenemi Idimina Kakulu.
Of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, may I crave your indulgence to rest on all existing protocols, since we've already spent some time here. Let me thank our ladies for inviting me, and specifically my good friend, younger brother, Gaga, for putting me on the hot spot. It's my joy to be here to make this presentation on a topic that I was sent back to the classroom to go and learn about to enable me make this presentation. This afternoon I'll be speaking on leveraging intersectionality in the workplace. I also want to appeal to my women that I may not be saying what you're expecting me to say. I always make an apology before I start speaking, because sometimes the topic is in one direction and Professor Kakulu takes off on a tangent. So I hope my apologies have been accepted in advance. So let me thank the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria for inviting me to speak on this topic. What is intersectionality? What does it do? It builds on social categorization, which is the recognition of our differences. As individuals, we're different in some ways, and we're similar in other ways. So it builds on our differences and clusters us together in our uniqueness on those things that make us come together. Why do we have the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria? Why don't we just have one association of quantity surveyors, the NIQS? Why did we need to have, in 2004, a reason for the women to feel maybe marginalized and fight for recognition. Intersectionality. The lack of understanding of it or the lack of application of it, or both. So we're professional quantity surveyors, but in addition, we are women. So that now separates us. You know, we're working along the lines of our differences. And as individuals, we all exist within a complex array of social categories. Each individual that stands has a lot of things that make you the unique person that you are. And so on this short journey, I want us all to just explore it together so that when we leave here, if nothing at all, each of us will be clear on the concept of intersectionality, what it means for us as employers, as employees, and as decision makers. So we're looking at social categorization. Why social categorization? Why does that have to be done? So this is where we classify individuals into groups based on characteristics that society can make sense out of. Things that society can understand, you know, and make sense of. It helps the society navigate our complex world because the society can pay attention to how different groups, including women, perceive real life issues in their own way. We have the capability to think, to act differently. But those capabilities, as we grow up in life, our worldview and the things that help us, you know, or the experiences we've had, give us a lens through which each individual sees the world as different from the other. So while social categorization is useful for planning, I mean, statisticians will tell you why they need it, it also has nefarious consequences in terms of oppression or marginalization. And these are some of the things we're going to be looking at. So what are these categories? Like I've said, intersectionality builds on social categorization. And we need to understand what the social categories are. The common ones: gender, I'm female, you're male. We've split. Race, I'm British, you're Nigerian, I'm African American, you're Latino. Age group, language, sexual orientation, I'm LGBT, you're straight. I'm married, you're single. You're a widow or you're a widower. Religion. There's so many things that each individual standing here today, we have these different categories that make each of us unique. And if I'm to go around this hall and I ask each person to take a piece of paper and write down these 15 items, you would find out that we are just as different as we are, you know. Each of us may have a different combination of these activities, and this is what we have to deal with in the workplace. We're thinking of how we can leverage on those intersectionalities that define each person. So, what is our social identity? That's the first thing we need to recognize. What's your social identity? It can be based on our intersectionality. I am from Rivers State. I am married in Edo State. My children are married in Abia State, right? We begin to have layers. So when you try to uncover my personality, it's very different, very difficult. I, as a young person, I had difficulty in identifying my personality. And people kept asking, we don't know who you are. I said, I don't even know who I am myself, right? Very, very difficult in identifying who you are. So I took a decision when I was much, much younger to identify myself by my 4 grandparents. And I always said to my dad, I said, I'm like you, but I'm not like you entirely. I think I'm like your mom, right? So I started identifying my likes, my dislikes, and all of that. I linked them back to my genealogy. the likes of those who were before me. But as I grew up, I made friends. I picked up some of their traits. I picked up some of their likes. So I became a different person. Intersectionality we're looking at is what defines you when all these layers are put on you. And you have one employer who has to understand you. How? Right? He has to understand your challenges, you know. So some people may be privileged simply because they are from a particular tribe. I'm bringing it down home. Nigeria, when we talk about intersectionality, we know that we're talking about language, dialect, tribe, religion. We're bringing it down to us as individuals. For some people, privilege is just your skin color or what geopolitical zone you are from. You can get a job. Others may never get it. You may be living in an environment where you are not from. It means you are doomed to forever be a private sector practitioner. Because you are not from the state, you cannot get a proper and paid employment. So some of these things are things that, you know, we keep looking for how to be different. And in the workplace, it can have its consequences. So each individual has multiple social categories, multiple. And I will come to the categories that women have that sometimes makes it a bit difficult for them out there in the workplace. So the multiple social categories intersect. The word intersectionality, which I'll get to, is the intersections. What is the intersection between the country you're from and where you live? You know, there's so many things. So an individual may have multiple social categories like layers of an onion, and an individual could be any of several combinations of what I had shown us in the previous table. And I had said I had listed only 14 things there. And if each of us made an effort to identify who we are on one table, we would see that none of us have the same 15 traits together. So at some point, our intersects differ. I could be female, white, under 40, a kind person in the opposition party. That's my intersectionality, that's me. But I have to work with a boss who may be female, African, above 55, a Christian, and not corrupt. I could be a female, African American, Hindu by belief, from the South, I speak Hausa, and I'm married, right? That is my intersectionality. I could work for a boss who has totally different thought patterns, and that is where the problem begins. So let's look at this intersectionality. You know, going up there, let's look at that chart. What we mean by the intersectionality is those layers. For instance, you can have racial identity and gender. That defines you. That could make you privileged in your workplace or could make you marginalized. Right? You can have nationality. I'm a Nigerian. Oh, that one is a Nigerian. Okay, it's an international job. We don't want Nigerians because they are known for corruption. And then you are again excluded simply because you are a Nigerian. Or you could have a disability. At the same time, you're a Nigerian. In addition to that, you are LGBT or you are straight, depending on who is employed. And then you could have a racial identity, you're a Latin, you know. So at the end of the day, all these intersections create multiple and complex working environments that have to be dealt with and handled. So in leveraging on intersectionality, it's not about saying, oh, we're women, so we need to be given an opportunity. Like I said, no, I'm here to burst that bubble. That's not what I'm here to talk about. Even the very fact that we have moved away to form our group is because intersectionality had not been leveraged upon in the past. And going forward, we need to begin to think about that. So it should be explored for opportunities where they are available, but should also be explored to find out where intersectionality brings discrimination, which is what we seem to have a lot in Nigeria. Intersectionality brings a lot of discrimination. You are not from the ruling party, you are not from the tribe you should be from, but you're just a human being and you want to exist. When you go into the workplace, all these layers, some you were born into. Like once in a while I say to people, being a professor of land management and yet from Buguma where we have no land, right? So coming from River State, from a community where there's no land. And here I am, a professor of land management, excuse me. Because I value it, I don't have it. I wasn't born into it, I didn't get it free. I don't have ancestors who have given it to me. I don't have it. So it becomes important to me how land is used, distributed, redistributed. So that those who are excluded by birth, hello? By birth, you're excluded from being a landlord. It's not any fault of yours. So if I'm looking at intersectionality, for instance, within the land profession, I want to see a situation where that changes. I also want to see a situation where the second son and the third son, who have no access, as it were, in some communities to land, are shortchanged, and intersectionality affects them simply because they were born second son. Hello? It happens, right? So take this topic, it's a very interesting topic. I will break it down to the women, but it's important that we understand what exactly it is we're looking at when we talk about intersectionality. In those intersections, some of which you can control, and many of which you have no control over, you know, people are being discriminated against and others are enjoying privileges. And society wants to come to an equilibrium. As much as possible, we want to see those who are marginalized because of the intersections in which they find themselves, and those who are privileged because of those intersections showing more sensitivity to reduce these overlaps. So let's look at the concept, you know, just some of the things in intersectionality. An identity that makes you privileged or underprivileged. Like I said, it may not be your fault. But over the years, society has learned, if my children don't have land because we were born into swampland and, you know, what you call fishing ports, we will send them to school and make sure they are trained to the highest level of education so that in the future they can compete internationally and get jobs even if they have no land to sell, right? Abuja and in drinking bars, I may not be able to do that, right? I may also have another layer. I'm married. I may have one simply because of where I find myself, right? So how can we move forward where in such a way where the privileged become more aware of the plight of the oppressed? As 2004, to enable the women to come together who understand in their cluster what the challenges they have are. I've lectured now for 35 years, and one day I said to my students, I'm done with training female estate surveyors. And they said, Madam, why? I said, it's a bloody waste of my time. I said, practice for so many years, up to the point of becoming a fellow. But it has not been easy, because of the lack of understanding of what happens to my intersection, where I find myself. A core professional, ready to do her work, ready to go into the... I'll share an example. In 1984, when I was being required, I was a young IT student just wanting graduation. And I wasn't allowed to go to the field to do assessment. And he simply said, ladies don't go to the field. So I was put in the office to be doing the computation. It got to a point where in my sleep, I published my first book on computerized valuation systems in Nigeria. It was almost 30 years ago. It's not happening anymore. The ladies are in the field. One of my colleagues said, "Mama, wait for atoms. Everybody is everywhere," right? That's true. So intersectionality, we all need to understand each other. We need to know what the challenges are in the other sections that we are not part of, including the position in the family. We've been doing some studies, gender studies on land, on the men. We're looking at men who are marginalized in terms of land ownership because of traditional land use patterns. I go elsewhere because you are not first son, you are not first grandson, you are not first anything. You have the resources, you cannot develop. First son has no resources, the land is not developed, excuse me. So this religion is important to us. Some of our women from different religions are unable, no, are not permitted to work. They are able. Women don't do this. Fine. If women don't do this, then what the women do, can you allow them within that do the work that they need to do? So it's yet to be properly studied, it's yet to be properly mapped, but we can leverage on it. I'm a sabbatical from my university. I'm currently with the UN, but I work from my home. So I wake up in the morning, have a bath, get dressed, switch on my computer. To be at this occasion today, because they can monitor when I had to take permission and say, I'm speaking somewhere, I will not be at my desk for 6 hours today, please, this, and then I send them a copy of the slide, right? Would be a disadvantage would be if people had not improved their digital skills. Again, he talked about that. Very soon you will not need to be in an office. So women, if you want to leverage on intersectionality, whereby you can be stirring a pot of okra, at the same time you're in an online meeting with the President of the United States, get digital. When I wrote that book in 2003, I had already used computers for maybe as far back as 1986. We had designed. And then you get up, you want to go to an office, you get into traffic, 3 hours you're on the road. I know what I can do in 3 hours in terms of the digital platform. This space is where the world is going, right? So if we want to leverage, we want to make things a bit more convenient for our younger women, the intersection of age. So you've just gotten out of school, you finished your NYC, yes, you get a job in a firm, and then baby 1 is coming, baby 2, baby 3. It doesn't mean you're useless. It only means that the person who employs you should understand that that is your intersection at that time. You are a young wife and a nursing mother, does not change the brains you have, doesn't change the skills you have, doesn't make you any less qualified than the guy who can get to the office in the morning. If you can work remotely, remote working should be encouraged. It's not because you're lazy. So it will call for upgrading of our offices to enable us accommodate the 21st century woman in the workplace. Women have a lot of brains, and women bring a lot to the discussion. You know, and I think society loses when, because of our intersection, marriage, children, looking after aged parents, etc., so many things layered on top of us. But we can still perform with the few hours we find in the day or the small window. So I want to call on all of us, give each other a chance, respect our intersectionality, respect where we are, and give us an opportunity to excel as well. Thank you very much.
Please, a round of applause for her once again. I wish I could give her more time, but I'm sure during the interactive session, reviving your career, actionable steps to achieve a professional renaissance, a professional rebirth. Maybe how long have you done what you're doing? Perhaps it no longer seems you are really at it. How do you achieve a rebirth? Now this paper will be presented by QS Dr. Celestina Nkechieke, FNIQS MNI. She is an experienced financial services and construction industry expert. She has worked in different capacities. Her career of 22 years spans through the banking industry, project management, facilities management, policy making, strategic planning and analysis, construction management and administration, and all aspects of construction, infrastructure business, and practice. She is the first and currently Director General of the NIQS Foundation. Please, a round of applause for her.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Having to speak after a professor is a hard work. you know, a professor of 35 years. So permit me if I stumble along the way. I'm just learning, Professor. I'm just learning. Thank you. I was given initially a topic, reviving your career, actionable steps to achieve professional renaissance. Well, I looked at the paper and I said, okay, reviving renaissance is for a dead thing. The professional is not dead. So I changed it. But before then, I acknowledge the presence of my chairman, the chairman of FNIQS Foundation. Mr. President gave me the honor to acknowledge him this form. Mr. President, thank you very much. And elder distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on existing protocol. It is a great honor to be privileged to stand before this important audience, to be engaged in our professional career-related discourse, particularly with regards to its prospects, challenges, and future possibilities, coupled with its attendant impact on the society at large. However, before I proceed, I would like to thank the chairperson of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria for the kind invitation and the wonderful initiative in putting this great event together. This event could not have come at a better time than now, when it appears that collective career aspirations of many Nigerians is indeed veered off the focus, running tangential to the main course, and therefore needs realignment with a view to making significant headways in the overwhelming socio-political and, more importantly, economic challenges. Initially, like I said, I was given the topic, reviving your career, actionable steps to achieve a professional renaissance. However, I had to restructure it for the audience to understand the discussion better. My major reason is that reviving, renaissance may not be applicable because the profession was never dead. Therefore, my presentation will be tailored around reinvigorating your career focus, actionable steps towards achieving professional breakthrough, which I consider very apt. This is because we need to move past the setbacks suffered in our profession, career pursuit, think objectively, and grow from the experience. It is important to forget the past and focus on the future. In doing this, asking certain questions remain relevant. One of these includes, was a setback a reflection of your personal performance or a new company direction that was beyond your control? If you can revive your situation and identify your strengths and weaknesses, you will be in a better position professionally and able to handle a similar situation that might arise in the future while attaining professional headway. Career indicates summation of the jobs you hold and achievements you accomplish during your professional life. Some people stay in one industry or profession in their entire career, while others make one or more changes in the new fields. Some careers have definable benchmarks, such as title, while others are judged by accomplishments. For example, many business careers move you from staff to coordinator, to manager, to director positions. It is important that at any point in your career, consider plotting out your career path, routes starting with your end point, and then backtracking, evaluate what skills, experience, and training you needed to achieve them. This might include planning a plateau or even a step backwards that helps you build your resume and skill set for a bigger payoff. To think about reinvigorating your career, one must have a career setback in one way or the other. Nevertheless, a career setback is often preferred time for internal reflection and professional reassessment. According to a career counselor, Justin Rockville, career setback can drive people to ask themselves bigger questions and re-architect their pathway. Whether you are staying with a current job or employer, seek a fresh job, or planning to launch a new business, it is important to explore a full spectrum of potential career opportunities. And as you work to get your career back on track, I think about developing your personal brand. Remember, things happen for a reason, and an apparent setback can actually place you on a fresh and exciting career path, if determined to reinvigorate it. You have to take things as they come and work to overcome challenges that could serve as obstacles in your career pursuit. In the next 20 minutes or so, I will be engaged in a discourse with you on how to reinvigorate your career and achieve professional breakthroughs. The aim of this seminar presentation is to acquaint you with some actionable steps towards achieving professional breakthrough in your career pursuit despite a myriad of daunting challenges opposing its natural course. To achieve the above, this talk will be covered the following areas of interest: conceptual clarification, career reinvigorating resources, obstacle to professional career reinvigorating, actionable steps towards professional breakthrough, and conclusion. Each of the above is briefly examined in turn. Conceptual clarification. Prior to the main discourse, it is important to clarify certain concepts in order for you to understand their meanings. As used in this context, the paper, therefore, will clarify focus and professional breakthrough. Career focus. It is difficult to have direct concept of career focus. However, for the purpose of this presentation, I came up with working definitions. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a career is a job or profession that someone does for a long time. Focus, on the other hand, is defined as a main center of interest, is situated in mind. It could mean situation whereby you set a target for your professional accomplishments within a defined time frame. This is an example of a career focus. Therefore, career focus as used in this context means mapping out specific area of interest, at least with predefined or preconceived aim and objectives. In respect of self-projected professional accomplishments, whether as an individual, in business, working in an organization, in view of their daunting, lofty achievements in a relatively short period of time. Professional breakthrough. Literally, the term professional refers to someone who earns living from performing an activity that requires certain level of education, skill, or training. A professional displays high level of expertise and efficiency. Generally, acting like a professional means working and behaving in such a way that others think you are the most competent, reliable, and respectful for what you do. Breakthrough, on the other hand, means an art of breaking through an obstacle. Therefore, professional breakthrough in this regard means breaking through imaginable and unimaginable barriers that otherwise slow down or attempt to block completely your efforts to achieve your professional accomplishments. Career reinvigorating resources. In an attempt to reestablish your career path, there are resources you need to have and manage well. Improper or mismanagement of these resources could negatively affect your professional accomplishments. The first of these resources, according to Greg, is time. How much time can you spare to work on your career? This question may sound silly. However, if you are working, you do not have time. If you are not working, you may believe you have unlimited time. Both beliefs are wrong. If you are working but are not satisfied with your job or career path, you must make time to redefine your professional career. How much time you devote to your career establishment depends on how much pain or fear you experience and how motivated you are to get your ideal career path. Being part of this discussion could be a good start for everyone here to relaunch their career individually. However, many people have had such opportunities and also read a lot of career books, but do nothing about it. Therefore, if you are not taking action, it is considered a waste of time. To avoid this, you must commit yourself, reawaken your career for a fixed amount of time each week. Schedule the time and task in your calendar not to just be the to-do list, and treat scheduled time as a top priority. The second resource I would like to educate on is finance. This brings about some questions as follows. How much can you spend on your career-related information and professional help? Do you have the financial resources to buy various professional assessments or subscribe to data resources? Can you find the money to hire professional consultants, advisors, and coaches? These questions are trade-offs. One may spend a little less of his or her time in career process if he found to hire professionals. These professionals can assist you in being more efficient and focus on your work, and even doing some of the work for you. If your funds are limited and you cannot afford outside help or any external assistance, you may need to spend more of your time on personal career-defining strategies. The third resource I consider is family, friends, and colleagues. The question that comes to mind here is, do you have family, friends, and or colleagues who could help you to redetermine your career? These are people that can help in ways beyond networking. These individuals must have both the time and the skills to be a useful resource in this regard. Otherwise, they may change your primary goal. Thus, achieving your focus will be more difficult than expected. When using family, friends, or colleagues as resources, you need to be careful. They desire to be helpful when they do not possess the knowledge or skills and the potentials for emotional influencing judgments and advice are possible issues. Family members may be influenced by issues about money, as nobody wants to get involved in business that cannot benefit them financially. Colleagues may be influenced by a desire to continue working together or even steal your plans. You also need to be cautious when letting colleagues into your career process if you do not want people to know about your plans. In an attempt to reinvigorate your career, education is considered important. However, the avalanche of successful people all over the world with little or no education to some extent negates the sufficiency of education as a career propellant. It is important to note that while young people that left school before graduating are at high risk for continuing disconnection, enabling them to complete high school is not sufficient in today's economy. PRISCILLA has it found that there is a thick glass ceiling for social mobility, with those in the bottom rungs of the economic ladder having the tools at having to break through. I'll go to the obstacles now. The obstacles for reinvigorating your professional career. Reinvigorating career focus is not an easy task due to some hindrances that could limit your achievements. A lot of obstacles exist that could not make the process difficult and sometimes unachievable. Some of these obstacles, according to Mengel, includes absence or lack of professional mentors. In career pursuits, many people are lucky enough to have knowledgeable and supportive family members, or maybe had sound teachers in the past or bosses who believed in them. Sometimes, the people you rely on have no knowledge of the field you want to venture into. If that is the case, you may go into the span network. Anyway, like initially they told me I had 45 minutes, but now I'm being told I have 20 minutes and 5 minutes left. So I'll quickly brush through, and the next area is focusing on what you lack. Most people are just carried away with what they don't have, instead of focusing on the things that they have and to expand on it and grow. Another one is confusion about what you want. You might see Mr. A doing a particular thing and you want that. It doesn't apply. You should check your strength and know what is applicable to you, what you can achieve. Lack of information. The truth here is that many people were exposed to only few possible career options. So you need to read, expand your scope, make friends, network, and hear from other experts what they have done, how best to do them. Trying to fit in is another challenge. You don't have to try to fit in, you don't have to work hard to fit in. Just be yourself, be who you are. Don't mind if elders are saying you are this, you are that. As long as you are true to yourself, be able to fit in properly to a profession that suits you. Then I'll quickly rush into the actionable steps towards reinvigorating your professional career. To reinvigorate your professional career, there is a need for individuals to adapt and put into practice some actionable steps that could assist greatly in fast-tracking the process. Some of these steps are: change how jobs are performed. Don't follow the norm. You must bring initiative in the job you're doing. Bring new ideas. Because when you do that, your bosses will understand that, oh, this angle is better, especially in the digital world. You know, my paper will be available for people that want to read into. It's actually a very detailed paper I have here. The next one, to reinvigorate your career, is adjust and improve your professional relationships. We just stay in a circle and keep running round and round. Come out of your comfort zone. Go and feel other professional bodies. What do they do? There are organizations that have women in technology. There are organizations that empower women. Be part of it. By the time you are there, you see how they do their own thing and introduce it to your own organizations. That's how life is. You can't remain to just because you're a Key West, you just do things the Key West way. Like today, I was so delighted when I saw a lot of beautiful men in the hall. I was telling the incoming chairperson that this is how to go, and this is the way to go. Because you're a Key West does not mean you have to look shabby, you have to look dirty, because you want them to understand that you're a woman in construction. So thanks to all of you that this hall is colorful and we are moving stronger. So the emerging job values. So in conclusion, having setbacks is a process of developing professional career could be disappointing. However, you do not need to give up, because sometimes without fall, you do not know how to pack your bags. You can still make it to the top of your profession. You only need to be guided by your setback and apply appropriate actionable steps, some of which have been discussed in this section. You are encouraged to put some of these steps into practice to reinvigorate your career focus and achieve a desired professional breakthrough. Additionally, continuous improvement of your chosen career is necessary to reach the heights. Achievers, be it in business, otherwise, are committed to continued improvement. If you seek professional breakthrough, you need to evolve on common strategies on how to make things better and do your job more differently, efficiently, and profitably. You do not need necessarily to have wait to the career coach or a mentor to record a success in your professional career. It is just within your grasp. Stop waiting for the world to change and begin to take strategic actions that will bring about the changes you long for in your professional career. Conclusively, as you begin to put my actionable steps into use towards invigorating your career focus.
Once again, she's beautifully dressed. I agree with her that, of course, the ladies, the women we have here today are all beautifully dressed.
industry. For some people, it's just a case of maybe home problem. That's what it is there. For our final paper this particular afternoon, we are going to be taking a look at future skilling, devoting from a career plan to a skills plan. This particular paper will be delivered by QS Ruya Patterson, FNIQS. Now, QS Ruya Tambaya Patterson, he's worked in both public and the private sector. He retired as a senior lecturer from Nuhu Bamani Polytechnic Zaria and is currently the managing partner at Rutfa Quads Consultants, Kaduna. He has served NIQS in various capacities, and he's currently a member of International Course Management Standard, ICMS, Standard Setting Committee, SSC, currently till date. Let's make welcome QS Ruya Tambaya Patterson. Please a round of applause to him.
Future skilling, pivoting from career plan to a skill plan. And my topic will be like a summary. A professor talk here and skilling, pivoting from career plan to a skill plan. And I want to thank the three presenters. The first person that talked about future works, and then the professor, and finally my dear sister, Celestina. I'd like she presented as if we were talking together. And that shows that my paper will just be like a summary, and I hope I will be able to, I pray I'm going to be able to take, to cover that 20 minutes or less than that. The content is introduction, transforming careers in the wake of COVID-19. Career pivoting, types of pivots, how to successfully pivot your career, when to pivot your career, signs that a pivot is necessary, developing a skills plan, and conclusion. Of course, like I said, most of those people that have been presented before me, they have talked on some of these areas. Now, by the coming of COVID-19, or the shift from brought us on the COVID-19, has driven many professionals, from their comfort zone, out of their comfort zones, and caused them to what? To what is most important in their careers. Before now, we are more, at rest or at peace with our comfort zone. But by COVID-19, 2020, when everywhere the whole globe was shut down, it makes so many professionals out of their comfort zone. And these professionals seek ways to balance their need of stability, as at that time, to an agile career which accommodates the changing needs, their desire, or a sense of purpose. Then a recent survey by Guest Matter to You, an incorporation brand that was appointed by Harvard University to carry out a research on how COVID-19 affects our professional careers, reveals that though the COVID-19 crisis had caused immense distress, it also accelerated career trend, which sees an increasing number of professionals rethinking their approach to growth. Now, transforming careers, from that area, a lot of professionals lost their jobs. Retrenchment was following and have been very rare and difficult time. Of course, many were forced back into their job markets as employer also downsized, struggle also to survive or close down completely. As at that time, the career change, whether voluntary or not, it was an increasing activity, and constantly changing the labor market, has highlighted the need of the professionals. Rethinking career trajectory. Now, in this research carried out, in fact, that studies have been revealed that majority of employees have a short and fluid career roadmap. Post-COVID-19 and that of and others make many plans for no more than 3 years into the plans. I really don't know, if I may ask, I don't know whether we have our own plans, because some of us, we are comfortable with where we are, And then when the research was carried out, they found that below 10%, when they were asked question, how will you describe your career plan? And if I ask that question here, of course, every other individual will have the way he will define his career plans. Now, below 10% does not even exist. What is their career plan? We have a lot of people like that who don't even know what they are going to do in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years. Then those people who, like some of us here, is fluid and changes frequency is around 34%. Then what is, have you mapped out in the next 3 years? Is, do you have you mapped out your career changes or career issue in the next 3 years? We have that around 30%. Some maybe 5 years, 17%. 10 years is mapped out for the next 10 years. Now I attended a training that because to have a plan, you can have a plan, a goal, a plan for 10 years. But I believe most of us do not. From this research, we find out we are in between that 34%, or 34%. People with 3 years plans are few, people with 10 years plans are not there. But that will now bring us to the issue of the career changes. Now, the traditional career path professionals are being driven back to look more broadly at the directions their careers could have given them today, increasing complex and turbulent work environment. This is what this research brought out, the result that brought out. And then there will be, during the COVID-19, you have a lot of emergence of hybrid jobs. Also mean that the nature of specific careers will be upended. There are people who are still practicing conservation, but they went into another thing. Because that time, they found out that, look, their profession, and there are those who lost their jobs, maybe construction companies, conservation farms, they are no longer jobs. I don't know, I'm from Kaduna, I know what it is. They gave us, everything has standstill. Yeah, the job will be doing there, but there are no longer jobs that you can support the younger ones. So we need, skill plan from the career plans. Now, career pivoting. When you don't know, this one was stated by Jimena Ibarra. He says, he's a career expert, career change expert. He says, when you don't know what the future will bring, or when the path you thought you were on takes an unexpected turn like it did in COVID-19 era, or in 2020, it makes sense to pursue a diverse portfolio of options rather than just sticking single-mindedly to one. And what Blake, in her book, pivot, the only move that matters is your next move. She described it as doubling down. What is defined as career pivot is doubling down on what is working to make a purposeful shift to a new one. And then the next one is that an intentional, methodical process for nimbly navigating career changes. It has to be intentional. You don't just sit down and say, I wish yourself, but it has to be intentional. I want to change my career. I want to change from my career to a skill plan. And I know somebody says here, I think the last paper, that she work in her office, she'll be cooking, and that is skill plan. And when you find as a conservator, you don't have a plan for your skill plan, then you are doomed. When things are down, you are doomed. Like now, I know some people are not here, but they are following us through the Zoom. Now, the next part of our career pivoting is purposeful shift in a new related direction that one makes by doubling down on what is already working. That is in that sense. Then we have types of career pivots. There are only two. The other one is a purposeful shift in a new direction. Whether it will be an eye-opener or experience or this moment, people don't understand that you can meet from different people from around the globe until such issue this era came into being. It's an aha. So I think I want to develop, I want to prepare my skills. Then the next type of career pivot comes in, on an unstable job market or job loss. Those are the two things that will make you to have a career pivot. Now, we are going to how to successfully pivot your career. We have almost 10 of them, how to successfully pivot your career. One of them is embrace change. If you don't embrace change, you are doomed. So what it means for you to embrace it is that when change can be very, very scary, especially in uncertain times like we have, like our own now. Uncertain times, uncertain environment, embracing it and moving in a new direction can be rewarding. And it can be excitement. It can be a lot of excitement for a job you haven't felt in a long time if you embrace change. And it is very, very important as one surveyors, we have to embrace the change mantra. Then evaluate your skill. What kind of skill do you have? In career, for you to have a successful career pivot, you must have first step to evaluate yourself and your skill set. There are people who don't know how to use, there are people who call themselves analog. Using computer, using software, they find it very, very difficult. But you have to what? You have to embrace, you have to evaluate it. Do you have it? If you don't have it, what happened? Now, how do you do it? Is by conducting SWOT analysis. Look at internet strengths, your internal strengths, look at their weaknesses, and then look at the opportunities around and look at the threats. Do you have threats in your own career? Of course, as one surveyors, we have threats, from other, professionals. But and then you have to look at your own strengths again. Additionally, if your current situation, such as your interest, your talent, skills, and work history, does not give you this thing, then you need a career, you need a career pivot to a skill plan. Then the next one is management. Lean into your transferable skill. You have to lean into your transferable. You have skill that can be transferred. Transfer skill are the abilities you have that can be applied to several areas of your life. One of them is management. Seen as from the research carried out, 75% of voluntary turnover is influenced by a person's manager. So who is your head? Who is your manager? He can ask you to move out. He can ask you to drop out. So that's one you have to look at it. Do you have the skill when they ask you to go? Then communication. Be able to listen and truly understand your team is an important transferable skill that you can take with you to every job you have. If you are not good in communication, it may likely affect you. Now, the next time is time management. The last speaker talked about time management. Whether you keep a planner or meticulously fill out your Google Calendar, time management skills are crucial to excel in the role you are going to take, or any role you are taking. Time management. I was interested in the last paper that talked about time because it's very, very important. Even here, time management is very important. That's why they give us 20. My time is 40 minutes, but they say 20 minutes. That's time management. Now, information technology. Do we have IT knowledge? If you don't have, then you have to go for IT programs like Microsoft Office, like that can help you. And I saw in their presentation of WAQSN, they want to go on training using Primavera and other things. There are skills that you need to develop. As a consultant, you don't have those skills, automatically you'll be left behind. So the next one is research and analytics. Being skilled at research is also a valuable trait that shows employer you are inquisitive and forward-thinking. I believe the professor will agree with me with that, because if you are involved in research, and that shows how good you are. The fourth one is visualize success. And there are set KPIs, that's set key performance indicator for yourself to measure your success. Visualize. Before you dive into the logistic of how to make a career change, evaluate what you think success is. It's very, very important. Evaluate what you think success is, and then you cannot go ahead. What does your environment resemble? You have to think about that. Who are you interacting with? And what type of activity fuel your day? The last paper talked about friends, family, and colleagues. So these are the things you have to check around. The next is plan your strategy. You know what you want. I don't know what you want, but every individual sitting here knows what he or he wants. So if you know what you want, now how do you do that? But now you need to identify how to get there. You have to find out how to get to that place that you want to go, and determine your milestone, and including realistic time frame to achieve your goals. If you don't determine your milestone, you don't have a realistic time frame, you may never achieve your goal. Number 6, reach out to your network. Now that's why I say even the family issue, friends, you have to reach out for them. Network with your support system and make them aware of your new desire, of your distinctions, of your direction. Yeah, you have to inform them, their network. Even though you have to be very careful so that somebody may not steal your idea. Then ask them for a feedback. Maybe you can send out questionnaires, let them feed you back. Make sure they are up to speed on your desire, your strength and current set skill. During a time of crisis like this, sincere networking can help you find opportunities. It's very, very important. I hope if you can believe we are in the dire situation that jobs are not forthcoming. So if job of fan surveying is not forthcoming, what do I do? What should I do so that I can make my ends meet? That's when you have to now look at your skills. Number 7, you have to seek a mentor. It's very, very important. Because if you want to, you have to find someone whom you admire. A person who provides you with reliable guidance and advice. I'm standing here, I have mentors. I have mentors. Yes. And I have a mentor who shaped me through fan surveying. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Then take the next steps, of course. After you identify a mentor, you take the next steps. Then when you take the next step, what do? Actually, what I say, it's only after you step outside your comfort zone that you begin to change, grow, and transform. When you step out from your comfort zone. Number 9, you talk about measure your progress. When you are trying to change from a career plan to career skill, measure your progress month by month, financial institutions, money saved, money earned, headlines, all that. The paper is there. Send the paper and there, so you can get it there. Then the next is what? And in this one, you have to have specific smart issue. A great way to let me say, yes, how to successfully pivot their career, continue. A great way to kickstart this process is setting smart goal for yourself. Specific, measurable, attainable. All of us know about smart goal. So we have to do that one. Then follow your passion. This woman, Jenny Pennell, in January 12, 2021, says, if you are running from your conflict with colleagues or anxiety with work-related situation, you are likely to bring those things with you to the next career. However, if you are not fulfilled by the works itself and find it uninspiring, by all means, pivot into a career that does fulfill and inspire you. 7 steps, write down your whys. And when you want to change to career, write down your whys. Find out what is making you to change. To answer that, I do jobs like you. If you are not with your co-workers, be careful, so that because you can transfer that one. So ask why you want to change. Why you want to change to a skill plan. Assess your strengths and passion. What makes you, or what tasks have you enjoyed over the course of your career? You have to assess it. Number 3, explore your options. What are the options there for you? Allow yourself to dream big and consider all career possibilities. Build a list of ideas that are interest to you. Job considerations, create a robust list of pros and cons for each option, including salary, requirement, location, flexibility. Now, if you want me to change my skill and come to Rivers, these are some of the things you have to consider. Now, but if you are skilled, you can stay in Kaduna and be working here. And then the number 4, pick a career and set up a goal, a clear set goal. Review a career shortlist and set both short and long-term goals. That is very, very important in order to enable you to move ahead. Then education. Last week I talked about education. What kind of education and training will you need for each option? Are there other cities and regions which better prospect than you are currently located? Now, before you begin that one, you have to ask yourself those questions. Are there other cities? Is it like for me to go to Lagos and stay there? Now, expand your network. Of course, you need network. You need to move around with colleagues. Try to build a rapport with experts already traveling in that chosen industry you are going. If I'm going to go to a particular, I have to find out a rapport. I have to have a rapport with people who have already built up there and talk to them, and then that's the network. Informational interviews can be helpful during a career transition. Career connection to potential employers and providing insight to day-to-day activities and responsibilities. Very, very important. Number 6, try it out. Along with the informational interview you have, A new job trial run can offer a further understanding of your new career path. You can get valuable experience by volunteering for a similar role in a non-profit organization. There are some quantity surveyors, I think they are not satisfied with the practicing. They want to go into lecturing, but they are small jobs. So decide to go to that particular university and say they want to do pro bono. And of course, the university say, okay, you want to do pro bono, come in. They give them a job, but not pay salary. So they have started in. By the time they are looking for if there is a vacancy, they are going to be the first 2 people to be employed. So you can do some of those things together, you try it out, and update your professional brand. The last week I talked about your brand. You have to update your professional brand. Revise your resume, your CV, customize your career change cover letterhead, and you highlight your skills that you can have. Now, when you do that one, it's going to attract the area you are going into. Then, that's the last one. And then, of course, sign that a pivot is necessary. You are feeling unchanged at work, lay off or downsizing. These are the things that will make you that a pivot is necessary. Lack of job opportunities in your market feels like a dead end. Do you have job opportunity, lack of job opportunity in our market? If you are even as a professional quantity surveyor, you are practicing, do you have that? If there are, then this is high time now for you to start thinking of a career opportunity, developing yourself, other things that you can do outside the quantity surveying. Not that you are leaving the quantity surveying apart, but they are doing. Then this is the developing a skill plan. How do you develop a skill plan? The triangle shows that assume skill. Some of us here, we assume that we have necessary skills. Now, this one is at the bottom. Digital capability. You assume that you know digital. I don't assume. So if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. But most of us say skill necessary for doing most professional jobs. We assume digital. Then the next ladder is core competency. Skill that allow you to perform specific function. You have skill that allow you to perform specific function. If you have, then you are in that functional expertise. Distinguish your skill, and then that is you are go ahead. Then the next one is analytical and critical thinking. In futures, it's predicted that analytical skill and will evolve into core competency and necessary skill. I know somewhere when Josh Alabo was talking about, he said competency. He talked about it. So this one will help us. Then interpersonal relationship, signal booster, ability that you help. That help you stand out from your competition. That's the third or the second to the last. Then at the top, leadership. Interchange throughout your career. Leadership is very, very important. And as roles become more free, the concept of traditional career development plans also becomes increasingly outdated. This skill can be used as building blocks that can be reconfigured in a various contexts throughout their professionals. Conclusion. As uncertainty opens up the doors for more permanent change, professionals have the power to reshape their careers by building up a portfolio of skills. Whether it's prioritizing a work-life balance or pivoting to a role that offers more fulfillment. There has been a profound shift in what is seen as possible. One thing is certain. Those who want to succeed in the long term, regardless of external disruption, require what will help you. Now, it's only after you step outside your comfort zone that you begin to change, grow, and transform. Jenny Blake wrote a book on this topic. The only move that matters is your next. The only move that matters is your next, and that is very, very important. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Please another round of applause for QS Ria Patterson. And the next session is going to be the interactive session. So, and QS Dr. Celestina Ngichieke.
He spoke concerning innovation, the need for us to be innovative. He highlighted the talks of course, this being the digitalization era. COVID, almost all the speakers touched on COVID. COVID has ensured that the way we do things have changed. People did not know we could work remotely previously. So, the questions for the QS to answer here will be, do you think in the profession for quantity surveying, there has been indeed enough innovation? Aside the fact that COVID came, we're being the era of digitalization, softwares, apps, do you think QS, the quantity surveyors, are pushing for innovations to actually change the way they work? I would like one of perhaps the quantity surveyors to answer. So do we get a lot of these? Do we have, the young ones are coming up. In every profession now, we have people developing apps. Everyone here, I'm sure, has a smartphone. So it's gone beyond just software. We have applications for the phones that could actually make things easier. So are we seeing enough? Yes, you say we have, but are we seeing enough?
You see, saying enough, it's, the quantity of practice cuts across different stages. There are certain stages that has to be done physically. You can't be in your office and know what's been done on the site if you're doing evaluation. You have to visit the site to see what has been done for yourself. But bills preparation has moved from the tradition, taking up sheets, writing your dimensions on the paper. Now you have on-screen measurements. You have softwares that can also help you make your bill preparation easier and more efficient. I think, yes, it may not be enough, but we still need more professionals and more consultants to go into this area to also improve, to make it easier. We also have areas of rate build-up. We have areas of cost plans, and there are a lot of areas we can look into. So it's something that we need to look into, be innovative, and try to see how we can get it into the, get those processes to meet the present or the future digitalization stage.
Okay. Now, for the professor, I would like to ask this. Categories do exist, whether we like them or not. We do have categorization that have been brought about by intersectionality. One way I would have suggested for this to be solved would have been starting afresh. And when I mean starting afresh, let me quickly ask everyone here. Are we all aware that children do not see categories? Your child from the onset does not know Muslim, Christian, Hausa, Igbo, black or white. Children do not see categories. Now, even if we now say, let's start afresh from that orientation to ensure the children do not have categories, I want to bring up one category in reality, whether we like it or not. Sex. Being a female, there are certain limitations to what a female will be able to do, most especially if it requires physical presence. So can this aspect ever be solved? Even if we say we start afresh with all the children now, to start saying no more categorization. Prof.
Okay, thank you. Chairman, I hope I'm permitted to sit. Okay. Yes, what we are saying in intersectionality is not to change the categorization. We need the categorization. What we need to do is to understand what the challenges are in each category, and so we factor them into decision making. I remember back, in school when we were studying, we had lectures with architecture students. I had an architect as my roommate for all the 4 years, so we used to trace and do all that. But I always said, when you design a house as a male architect and you get a lady to critique that design, she's going to see things you would never have seen, simply because that's just the way she is wired to see those things. And that is why in decision making, you need both heads. You need people with different perspectives. So the categories are important for decision making, as long as everybody is on the table and the opinions are heard. And like you rightly said, children don't see the difference. I was talking, your national president was, speaking here, and he, introduced my husband as his classmate and friend. When we were back in school in those days, federal schools, we didn't see tribe, we didn't see cult, we didn't see any difference. And many of us have kept those relationships going beyond all the hullabaloo going on in Nigeria. We've kept those friendships. Because we were children then, we only saw our friends and their faces. It doesn't matter who they have now become, we're unable to get rid of that childlikeness, childhood friendship. So I think a mindset is just to say, I agree we are different, but we can work together in a synergistic manner to get things done that keeps everybody happy. I make no apologies for being in charge of the kitchen. And I don't need anybody coming into my kitchen to tell me what to do, right? It's my domain, it's my territory, right? And everybody respects that. So we're not ready to trade some of those things that come to us based on our agenda. We're not trading them. We're just saying, if I'm doing this, then you get other things done. So at the end of the day, there's equity and everybody is happy. So that's my comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Please indicate. We'll have the usher go over, and so if you have a question, something you want the panel to respond to. Really is it that we do not have most of these categorizations within the QS world? Prof.
Okay, thank you very much. I think in addition, he also asked about politics.
Yes.
And how that stops us from getting jobs. And it's a very sad thing, if you look at the way even the Bureau on Public Procurement, some of the conditions for getting jobs, local content fine, then you see ability to speak the language. So I come into a state, I'm here, I'm working. Must I speak the language, the local language? Pidgin English is the local, everybody can speak it, right? But even the way the policies are set, how jobs are given, people stay in the state, build up the state, but cannot get jobs out of maybe the government that is the main, has the funds. It's very demoralizing, extremely demoralizing, and these are some of the things we need to look at, because the intersectionality now says, you're not from here, you're not from this state. It doesn't matter, you're just not from the state. So it makes some people superior to others. Others become subservient, where you get hand down. A professional gets jobs, only particular tribes can get those jobs. And then all other professionals just rally around them to pick the crumbs. It is something that I have been quite vocal against, but there's not much you can do, because it has to be addressed from the top. It has to be addressed, at the national level. But it is happening, and it gets a lot of professionals in my discipline demoralized. Because it doesn't matter how good you are or how big your firm is. Some of our colleagues have relocated. Many of them have taken their headquarters back to Abuja, Lagos, despite being large employers here, providing jobs for so many people, running vibrant real estate practices. They have relocated. Because based on their names, you are not getting a lot to keep the fleet going. So intersectionality comes up in so many ways, and we need to address the discriminatory ways or parts of intersectionality. We need to have open level playing fields. If you say there's open competitive tendering, let it be competitive and let the best man get the job. You understand? And not so. Those are some of the areas where I want to mention. And the 15 I clicked are probably just a drop in the ocean. There's so many layers that affect us. In this state alone, we have over 41 different languages. For the historians, this state, one state, 41. I'm not saying dialects. We'll come to that. So it changes, and we're coming down to dialects in terms of our sectionality. Oh, yes, we're from the same area, but our language is different from theirs. What's the distance between your village and mine? 1 kilometer. We're that different. So it's something that needs to be addressed urgently, and we need to be intentional about addressing it. Otherwise, we'll just grind to a halt. Thank you.
Okay, for QS Dr. Celestina Nkechieke, we also had a question. How do you measure yourself to know indeed what we lack?
Thank you. I'll be very practical in this case. Take, for instance, I was from private sector, I moved to public sector. So I was deliberate in trying to know what happens in public sector, from the minuting to who he goes to. So you must be deliberate about what you want to do. He said you have to be true to yourself. You don't know this, you don't know it. There's no shortcut. So when I entered the public sector, I went to the last person. How do you minute this? Who do you send it to? I humbled myself, I stooped and conquered. Right now, I don't think there's anybody in public sector that will tell me you came from the banking sector, you don't know anything. So it's yourself, you know yourself. You know that you don't know this. That's step one. And step two, you just have to keep interacting, networking. By the time you meet people that are better than you, you know. I was just saying that Prof destabilized me. Professor of 35 years, you know, she was just speaking. I said, hey, trouble today. So but all the same, I summoned courage. I said, okay, Prof, you're not going to intimidate me today. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it my own way. So that's very simple, you know. So you must understand that and brace up to it, you know, and keep learning, keep asking questions. I have an organization I belong to. The women there are corporate women that are doing things, owners of oil companies, chairwomen of banks. But when you come, it's a level playing ground, but you know who is who. You know who is the boss. So when you stay there, just stay in your corner and assess them and take one or two things from what they are doing and improve yourself. And you come out and look like a champion. They didn't know you were just studying them. So that's the only answer I have to give you that. So thank you.
So basically we have to be true to ourselves in order to measure up to know where we lack. For QS Fatherson, I'm sure you took notes. The question that went to you said, how do you cope with basically being multifaceted when you already have problems with your own current dispensation? So how do you now cope with being multifaceted?
Thank you very much for that question. And if you already know that you have a problem, that's a panacea for you to look for something that you will not have a problem. Now, I have a problem. Let me give you an example coming from Celestina's side. She was from private sector to public service. I was from public service to lecturing and back to private sector. You get it now. And then, of course, if you know that you have a problem in lecturing, then you have to look for where you stand better. Now, assuming you're a quantity surveyor and you have a problem in supervision or in consultancy. I know so many quantity surveyors who left consultancy to construction because they have more flair to construction. When you talk about multi-professionalism, I'm not asking to change from from quantity surveying to architecture, but it's possible. It's possible. Somebody else, I have that practical example, I have somebody working with me, he's a quantity surveyor. If a quantity surveyor don't have money, that's the question he said. He has a problem, there's no money. So he went and did architecture in HND. Now he has done his BSc, now in his master's. But he still come back to the office, no job. So what is there? What is happening? He's a quantity surveyor, an architect. So that's mean if he get a job for architecture, he will do quantity surveying job. But the jobs are not there. What do? You look for where you can fit in again. That is what we mean by professionalism and a career plan to a skill plan. Now, if you can lecture, it's better for you to go back to class. You have, and if you want to go back to the class, of course, you have to give in to education. Because you can't be in a university or polytechnic with your HND or PSc, and you are going to remain there. Your juniors will come and pass you. For you to become a professor, you must write a lot of papers. So that is, if you find out you have a flair of writing papers, then go to the class. Like I left class, I'm still interested in going to the class. You get it now. I hope I'm trying to answer your question. That is how do you build up? How do you pivot? And if you are pivoting from a career plan, what do? You need skills. Now, the skills of digital issue. We are now in digital era. Somebody said something like that, and of course, I was able to learn how to meet in Zoom. When we started meeting International Course Management Center, we are doing it physically. But of course, we do physically, we do virtual. But COVID-19 came in, we produced the third edition only on virtual. In fact, some of us who are being trained how to assess that, you get it now. So sometimes you have to, not necessarily leave your comfort zone. You can also change your, maybe a profession by attending leadership training or some courses online. There are online courses. But you see, you will not be able to attend online courses if you are not skilled in computer or in digital. I think that is that I have answered your question. And
Yes.
of course, sorry, in that category, Professor, the person who asked the question, I want to give an example. We are from the same state. We are from Kaduna. The issue of getting a job, I think when Erifai came, he do away with that. Now, you find that whether you are an indigenous or state, you are from that state, if you make application, he makes sure that there's no, I know so the sinner, let her go and get me a job through Erifai. No, you do your test, and the test is, you don't, in your comfort of your bedroom. If you pass, they'll send you an email, and you go for the interview. If you pass, there is second stage of interview. Now, and you find that in Kaduna, civil servants that are there, they are mixed. We have Yorubas, we have Igbos, we have Igalas. He changed it in the last 4 years. And the indigenes are crying that he has left them behind. So you see the issue of what she was saying, and that's why I said, let me just help. You will know that one, and of course, that is what is happening. If we have governors that can do that, then if we are able to go back, River State can do that, Lagos State can do that, then of course we'll be able to address that issue. And then of course, religion is there, but then at least some people have been given their job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll just take one more set of questions before we out. As regards data statistics, while we lecture, while we teach quantity surveying at the universities, there's something that encourages people to go into research. That's the key word, research. Is there anything that encourages people to go into research? I have a question here from a student. The question was directed to Prof. It says, my question is, having experienced the COVID-19 era, and we are being encouraged to go digital and be innovative, how do we manage that part of the profession that, as QS, there's always need to visit the site for inspections, maybe to carry out an interim valuation, etc. How do we overcome the part of being present where the project is executed if we go digital or practice remotely? So that's the second question I have. So the first question, I don't know who's going to answer that, but we can start with Prof answering this one.
Okay, artificial intelligence is here with us.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just touched a subject that excites me. I'm usually excited with technology things. That's just my passion. Even in our real estate, when we do compensation and all that, people are in the field, you can actually see where they are, right? These days you tell them, go to the field, tell me where you are, drop a pin when you get there so I can monitor where you guys are going. People go out into the field, they send me their location, I'm monitoring them real time. I say when it's time to run, we'll know where you're running to, right? So artificial intelligence is there, but the problem we have is that the trainers themselves have to have the knowledge. And that is where a lot of young people get really frustrated. So what I normally say to my students is, you go ahead, keep learning for the future, right? But also learn some of the old things that we know, because you would need both of them. You need to understand basic sketching, freehand sketching, to be able to go online and use automated systems. You need to at least have an idea. As a tailor, you need to know how to use a needle and thread, just to know what you're trying to do, to be able to go on and appreciate how you can just automate all the settings, put in the materials, and things come out. So it's taking the old and the new. But for the students, read as far as you can go. Just keep learning. It's all about learning new things. It may not be where your teachers are, sorry, but they will get there eventually. But that does not stop you from acquiring that knowledge, does not stop you from knowing what the future is in that discipline, while at the same time we are playing catch-up, right?
So Kios Ria, okay.
Okay.
I wanted to refer to data, statistics, and research.
Yes.
Just add to what Prof said. These days we have drones, that go to sites and bring reports back. You don't have to be physical in such places. Okay, such data you collect with the drones, you keep it over time. You can analyze it from the office without being physical. That's just, I wanted to add, because when you were talking to the first speaker, that kind of aspect was omitted. So I said we should just bring it to here.
Okay. All right, thank you. Can I start from behind before we go to the data research? Because if you have information, it's better we pass it across.
Go ahead.
Now, Professor talked about AI, which is, in fact, it interests me. I even laugh. She has gotten the magic, and that is it. Because in my office, I have an architect. Sometimes we work together. Instead of going to the site, if the site is not all that too far away, he has a drone. He will send the drone there. He will send it there. He has trained his architect how to pilot the drone. That is what he did. And because we are working in the same project, he will ask us that, look, we shouldn't worry. You will get the data for us. We will sit there in the office and prepare our evaluations.
Now, you are educated enough, perhaps you will trust him. Yes. But I'm sure there will be lots of people out there, when you tell them, I am sending a drone to go, they will tell you, it appears this man is not serious.
Yeah, I know it happens that way. Not everybody knows that, because it's a technology that is just coming in. And COVID has made it possible for some to do it. Now, another aspect again, QS, Tony talk about, QS software, measurement, preparing bill of quantities, yes. Do you have standard bill of quantities? I know in one of the adverts, I said QS card, master bill. And how do it's a software. Now, our student, I don't know how many students are here. I have a student recently, just came to my office for a training. And the first question she asked us, will you train us on software, how to measure, using software? We told her, do you know what BSM-4R is? No, she asked us a question, so we have to ask her. Do you know what BSM-4, Builder and Engineer Standard Measurement 4 Revised is? She kept quiet. What document do you use in your university? She kept quiet. I said, well, so if you don't answer this one, you cannot ask us to teach you QS software. Automatically, you have to learn somewhere the hard copy before you go to the software. Professor has just said it. Do the drawings, you start from the old fashion, and you get it there. But by the time we gave her a BSM-4R to study and give us an answer to measure once, a square. She couldn't find a center line guard, and she's in 400 level. So, and that is the same student asking us to teach her how to use software. Now, there are things that, I'm not saying that you should not use software. If you are practicing using software in office, make sure the person knows the rudiment of the heart, doing it yourself than using the software, because it makes them lazy. I interviewed a student, can you do measurement? She said, I have my degree, my master's, and do my PhD. I've never done measurement. I said, how are you doing a quantity surveyor? Because you want you to prepare a bill of quantities for us. She said, it's project management. I said, okay, I know where to send you to. That's all. Now, when you come to issue of data, yes, we have problem with data in this country. I know Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors and Quantity Reserve Board have been working on that. But you see, QS Debo Adewale is here. He is the chairman of QS Data Collection. We serve together in the same committee. Send out data. People are not ready to give you data. That is basic. Now, if I'm giving you data, what will I use it for? And is this a short-term data? Now, that is it. Now, I have a problem, like my president once said in Kaduna, that he has a problem that universities send students or approve topic on the importance of BIM in Nigeria, the whatever assessment of BIM in Nigeria. The question is, how many professionals in this country are doing their work with BIM? The highest we can go is 3D. That's the highest we can go. But going to the 4th level or 5th level or 6th level, it is not. And then you cannot use BIM in this country without the government backing. The countries that use BIM, they have government backing. UK, they have government backing. US, they have government backing. Now, even in this country, like I know UK, they are around 45%. In
using BIM. It is only in US they have gone to up to 70. There's a particular project, this category of project, if you don't have BIM, we cannot allow it. But in this country, I think it's finding it to be difficult. So with that, we may not have data. Research, yes, we'll make the university can be there. But you see, I want to say there's a research company. I talk about it. Concept. You know, they have carried out data research, and for the past 20 years. Unfortunately, because I'm in their, they sent me a copy, and I asked them a question. I saw Nigeria inside, and on what they say, data is oil and gas. Now they have civil heavy work. I saw Nigeria inside. I said, you have not come to Nigeria. How did you get this data? You get it now? They now talk that they have mega construction companies that they are getting their data, and this company is based in Australia. And they are doing it for the whole world. And I saw Nigeria in that data. So how do you assess it? Now, of course, the student here will find it difficult to assess it because you have to pay some money because they use Nigeria. And they are quantity surveyors, architects, engineers. And I believe those who give them the data are engineers, especially civil works. I'm not talking about oil and gas because, of course, I don't know how to do, as a quantity surveyor, I have no work in oil and gas. Can I measure it? If I have a training, if I call Priscilla to train me or one other QSC who is older and he train me, I'll pick up. That is another area that we can go on. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'd like to thank our panel. Before I conclude with them, I'll just like to sum this all this way. There have been talks concerning innovation. There have been talks concerning reinvigorating, or if it's not a complete renaissance. All this will happen only if we indeed think of the future. We need to be careful we do not go back to the early days. Prof mentioned something concerning those who will teach the younger generation. Are they also trained? Are they also equipped? I work in the media. COVID-19 taught us something. There were lots of job losses during COVID-19, and at the moment, we now can operate fully automated studios without the need of personnel like we would have previously. Fully automated studios. Those softwares are available. So that's the future. That is the future. If we want to move forward, no matter what profession we find ourselves, we have to be ready. And it comes with the majority of the people here. Let me say why I'm saying that. If we cannot transfer anything to the next generation, they're going to take us back to the Stone Age. That's where we are at the moment. So when we say we've got to be, should I say, what's the word now? The exact word, to be particular about it, look, it has to come from each and every one of us here. Please just remain seated. Thank you very much. Just a round of applause for them. I would like to call on, we're going to have some presentation of plaques and also some awards of merit. For the organizing committee, if we can have the plaques and awards for those who, for the recipients, could we please have them? FNIQS, he's going to be picking up the first award. Please a round of applause for him.
Are we tired? No. Loud applause sounds like those that are tired. Well, I understand lunch is also ready, so if it is because our stomach is grumbling, we will not leave here if you don't clap hard enough. Thank you very much. We'll leave here in another 2 minutes, I assure you. Yeah. QS Otoye Bekagama Ekine, FNIQS. On behalf of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, I present this award to you in appreciation of your contribution and support as a resource person and to the success of this one-day seminar at the investiture of the 7th WAQSN Chairperson. It is being shaping a leading culture in the dynamically emerging future of work. In fact, I almost broke my teeth. Thank you very much, Ekine.
picking up the next award, would like to...
Okay, if you push that woman again, I will send you out. Don't you know they are the one we are celebrating here? You are behaving like a typical man. And you will have not ask her gently, madam, please.
We are gentlemen here.
We are supposed to be gentlemen.
I'd like to call on Professor Iyenemi Bimina Kakulu to pick up the next award. Please, a round of applause for Prof.
If you don't clap, I won't give. This is my own sister now. You have to clap. You are clapping for me, you are clapping for my sister. Thank you very much. Prof, it's been a delight listening to you. Your paper was wonderful. And I'm sure even all your responses to the posers that were made, at a point I thought you wouldn't be able to have answers for us. But for somebody who is not a landlady, but can talk so eloquently like this, well, we thank God. On behalf of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, I hereby present to you Professor Iyenemi Bimina Kakulu. In appreciation of your contributions and support as a resource person to the success of the one-day seminar at the investiture of the 7th WAQSN Chairperson and the inauguration of the 2021-2023 Executive Committee. Thank you very much, Prof.
Very much.
Today must be sweeter, otherwise.
So, President, I'll say...
Don't give him an excuse that it was because you came here. If I call him and he said the food wasn't ready, I will come to your house. Thank you very much, man.
President, I'll say thank you very much. At least you have done those awards for us. Please, a round of applause for our President. I would also now like to call to present the next set of awards. I'd like to call on QS Felix Okereke Onyeri, PPNIQS. Please, a round of applause for him. He will be presenting the next set of awards. QS Dr. Celestina Nkechieke, FNIQS MNI. Please, a round of applause for her.
Celestina, well, we have known you for a very long time, both as a member of the national body, I think a past chairman of your association of women quantity surveyors. I stand here to give you, on their behalf, this plaque in recognition of your contribution as a resource person and a role model in the construction. Thank you very much.
We'll also like to call on QS Rhea Fatherson, FNIQS. He will be picking up the next award. Please, a round of applause for him.
Rhea, by the privilege invested in me by the WAQSN as Women of Quantity Surveyors, I hereby invite you to present to you as this plaque as a resource person for the good work you've done today, and hoping that in future you'll be available whenever you are called upon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, now for the next set of awards, we've talked about the youth, we've talked about the next generation. There will be some awards to some students, and for those awards, I would like to have, the chairperson, the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors, QS PRISCILLA AKABUDIKE. She will be presenting those awards. The first one is going to the Best Female Graduating Student 2019-2020 session of the University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, with a CGPA of 3.75. I'm calling on Ian Insidibe Abasi Edet. Please a round of applause for Inyang Insidibe Abasi Edet.
On behalf of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, we are happy of your excellent performance during your tenure in the university. This award of merit is presented to Inyang Insidibe Abasi Edet in recognition of your outstanding performance as the best female graduating quantity surveying student in the 2019-2020 academic session from the University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Congratulations.
So we can see this was not
the BESMM 4 revised to her.
Oh, a round of applause for Watson. So this was not restricted.
Cash award is a token to support her transport for coming here.
So you can see this was not restricted to River State. Another student award that will be going out today will be to the best performing female third-year student. She is from Imo State University with a CGPA of 4.45. And that is Priska Chiabaka Mbamoni. Please, I hope I got that one. She's the one. Please, another round of applause for her. She's the best performing female third-year student, CGPA 4.45.
On behalf of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, we are happy with your performance. And we gladly present this to you, the BESMM 4, because you're still in 300 level, you will need this. So we present this to you. And also, we have a cash award. It's a token to support your transport.
And for the last set of awards, we just have some few more to go. I'd like to call on the Vice President, NIQS, QS Bamidele Mafi Midimuho, FNIQS, to make presentation of the next award. Please a round of applause for him. The award is going to QS Aisha Mohammed. Please a big round of applause for her. QS Aisha Mohammed.
That's great.
Madam, well done. That's to show how much you have worked. We really appreciate, during your tenure, the great height you have taken waxing to. On behalf of the waxing, we want to present this award of excellence to you, QS Aisha Mohammed. Thank you. And the reward of hard work is more work.
Definitely. Thank you, Ms. Aisha Mohammed.
Hold on to all of us.
Thank you very much, Mr. VP. And Madam, just stay behind. She will be presenting the last two awards. And those awards will be going out to those who stood out as best performing zonal coordinators. First one is QS Mary Gowan. QS Mary Gowan, best performing zonal coordinator award. She seems a very jovial person.
Yes, yes.
QS Mary Gowan. Thank you for the support and effort you gave me during my tenure. Yeah, there are three there in Abuja, so I call them the 3 N's. They are always there when we call them at all times to support us. So they've been there. I said thank you. It is not that others did not perform. They did. But in everything, we must have the best. Thank you.
She was going to be picking up something. Please, a round of applause for her.
QS Karamot, Zonal Coordinator, Lagos, Ogun State. Thank you so much for the support you gave me during my tenure. It has not been easy, but really, you were there to give me that support. Thank you so very much.
Echo for sure. Yes, that's from Lagos. Flashy. Excuse me.
It's going to be presented by QS Adironke Oyelami, Secretary, Marketing and Corporate Affairs, NIQS, and also a past WAQSN chairperson. Please, a round of applause for her as she steps forward.
Mr. President, sir, is he seated? Is he still seated? The president of the institute, QS Shonobi, I can't see. Okay, please, I would need your attention, sir, to make these presentations on my behalf. During my tenure as the chairperson, we started awarding prizes to the best female performance in the TPC examinations. And COVID and so many other reasons prevented us from doing that in the past 2 years. So we have a backlog. We have 3 different females who have won the awards for the year 2020. September, we had only 1 exam due to COVID. Last year, we had 2 exams. We had March 2021, we had September 2021. So you will do us the honor of making these presentations to the zonal coordinators, because I know the students, the candidates themselves are not here. We don't usually inform them ahead of time. We have a plaque, we have a check inside also, accompanying the plaque for each of them. So the first recipient, that was the September 2020 exam. The best performing female candidate was Falilat Giwa from Lagos chapter. So I'll ask the zonal coordinator of West 1 to come and receive on behalf of Falilat from Mr. President, please, the plaque and the check. Best female, please.
The women are doing a wonderful job here, rewarding excellence. All right, this is wonderful. The women, on behalf of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, this award of merit is being presented to Falilat Giwa, being the best female performance, for the best female performance in the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors Test of Professional Competence Examinations in 2020. And I think it will be received by the, okay, and there is a token sum on it, 40,000 for the benefit of Falilat Giwa as the best female performer in the exam. Congratulations.
The next award recipient is Aminat Ahmed. She is from Abuja chapter, FCT chapter, rather, pardon me. So please, the zonal coordinator for FCT, kindly step forward to receive on behalf of Aminat Ahmed from Mr. President.
On behalf of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, WAQSN, I'd like to present this award of merit, which will be accompanying the check to Aminat Ahmed for the best female performance in the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors (NIQS) Test of Professional Competence Examination for March 2021. Congratulations to her.
Sorry, our zonal coordinator, please come back. The third recipient is also from your zone. It's also from Abuja chapter. I would just like to tell Mr. President, these two ladies in particular is exceedingly brilliant. They scored over 90 in some papers. I had the privilege of seeing their scores. Extremely brilliant. They did very well.
Well, the FCT chapter, I don't know the trick that you have been using.
Yeah, Chairman,
Since you don't want I don't know the trick they were using. They can't be better than Lagos. They cannot be better than Lagos. We are not talking about Maxi here. We are talking about Waxi. I can't write to a man. I will hand over to a woman to go and see Mr. Chairman.
No.
You are
Mr. Chairman. Please, flagship is there. So let's the woman.
No, we are flagship now.
Don't say that.
He said success has so many fathers. See one of the fathers of success. When I wish if you were failure, I would appear. Well, on behalf of the Women Association of Quantity Surveyors in Nigeria, I would like to present this award of merit to Chioma Eunice Nnamoko for the best female performance in the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors (NIQS) Test of Professional Competence Examinations held in September 2021. Hearty congratulations to her. And, if you take this man, I will spoil the camera. It's for women. It's not for men. It's for women. The only man that can be here is the president. All right. Congratulations to all the awardees. We wish them all the best in all their future endeavors. For all chapter chairmen who are here, I hope the mandatory refresher course is ongoing. And you can see what FCT chapter has done. I hope you will do better so that by the time we are having this kind of ceremony, your own words or candidates will be the one that will win these awards. Thank you all. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Please just hold on. We'd like you to have a snapshot for the session with the panelists.
All right, thank you.
Wait, the president.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long day and a fulfilling one indeed. At this juncture, I would like to appreciate all those that have made this day a reality. On behalf of the new WAQSN Chairperson and the entire WAQSN Executive Committee, I stand here to appreciate our special guest of honor, Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, who was ably represented by Dr. Alabo George, for honoring our invitation. I want to also appreciate the President, the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, Professor Olayemi Shonuri, Fellow of the Institute, for his enormous support towards the planning and realization of today's event. Sir, we appreciate you greatly for carrying us on your wings, without which we would not be able to fly. Then our past President, QS Okereke Onyeri, thank you for honoring us with your presence. I want to appreciate the NEC members that have graced this occasion with their presence. We appreciate you greatly. The DG of NIQS Foundation, she also doubles as one of our resource persons. We appreciate you greatly, ma'am. Thank you for your coming. Our sincere and heartfelt appreciation also goes to our patrons. WAQSN Life Patron QS Joseph Ajanlekoko, past president of the Institute. for honoring us with his presence too. Thank you, Mercy Iyote, our first chairperson and a past president of the Institute. Even though she couldn't make it down, she made sure her impact was well felt towards the preparation of this event. Our keynote speaker and patron is Dr. George Alabo, for his immense support in all ramifications towards the success recorded today. We appreciate you, sir. We also appreciate greatly our past chairpersons, Dr. Gloria Enen in diaspora, Professor Olubala Babalola, she joined us virtually, QS Aderonke Oyelami, and QS Aisha Mwami. Thank you for your unflinching support and guidance so far. To our entire resource persons, we say thank you. Your papers were rich and they added value to this event. Permit me to mention and appreciate a few of our sponsors, such as the Quantity Surveyors Registration Board of Nigeria, our past president Obafemi Onachile of Consul Associates, FOAB Partnership, QS Francis Adetola, Aman Associates, Chief FN Alabraba, City Chapter. We appreciate you all. Lastly, we thank all the attendees for making this day a memorable one. We wish you all journey messages back to your respective destinations. Once again, I say thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for her. And closing this one out, I would like to call on Dr. Ranti Adebiyi to give us the closing prayer.
We thank him for today's program. We commit our resource persons, the invited guests, the distinguished ladies and gentlemen here. We commit you into the Almighty as we are about to leave this place for our various destinations. We pray to Almighty to guide us, to protect us, so that we have every cause to always glorify His holy name. In Almighty name I pray.
Amen. So thank
I know you're very sincere. BD, I said for BD. Yes, you can never do that.
Hey,
BD,
hey, hey.
that's why I trust you.
That picture never completes. Past and immediate past.
I'm a talk.
Don't talk.
We can actually
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Now, with this your investigation as the new chairman of WAQSN, what are your expectations?
First of all, I want to appreciate everyone that has come to make this event a success. Without them, this event will not have hold. As the 7th WAQSN chairperson, when we assume office, you always have action plan of what to do. The first and foremost is to increase the numerical strength of women in this profession, and also ensuring that the women practicing quantity surveying, they continue to come up and excel in their career. You know, being a male-dominated profession, they always want to be relegated. They want to, some of them shy away from lots of things, understand? But by coming together, we want them to come out. That is why we organize these seminars. Let the women come out. Let them come. We always have resource persons, you know, to speak on subject matters that borders on women.
we always want them to come out. Let them ask questions bordering on their career. I'm impressed by the number of females I saw today. At least I was counting up to 60 and I saw them. Despite they are not all seated together, they're all moving up and down. The first action plan is to increase the numerical strength of women, to go for membership drive. And I intend to achieve this by organizing more mentoring programs, workshops, seminars bordering on women empowerment. The second one is try to visit offices where we'll have quantity surveying students, practicing quantity surveyors, especially in the government public practices, the parastatal. This will help them to know, yes, this body exists. Most people doesn't know that this body exists. They will be hearing it, waxing. What are they doing? At least, if we decided to maybe take the meeting to them in the office, they will know that this body is really strong, and we mean it when we say we mean it. We want the women to come out. Let them show, yes, I'm a quantity surveyor. Let me be proud to say I'm a quantity surveyor. I'm a living witness, because during as an undergraduate, we're only 3 females, and I'm still happy that the 3 females are still practicing up to today. It's not, we didn't do anything extraordinary, we only speak out. Let's be included in whatever is going on. Wherever we are working, let's be included, And again, another issue is, based on the theme, shaping a leading culture. What do we mean by that? There are some toxic work culture in organizations that's been set up. Say, you are a woman, she cannot do it. Even if you are engaged, they will want to relegate you, no, the woman cannot do it. The salaries will be different. We are doing the same job. The men are being paid differently, while the women are being paid lower. And we are doing the same job. We want to say no to that. That is why we say a culture needs to be shaped in our organization to help, make the women have a sense of belonging in whatever they do. That is the main point. So organizing seminar is to bring them out, come out from your shell, come out and get involved in what the women quantity surveyors is doing in Nigeria. We are not willing to stop there. We'll still go to the tertiary institutions, the female undergraduates, to encourage them, just like the awards we've given to 2 students. They are performing, it's just to encourage them. Do better, do more, read. Some go to school and want to, depend on the other way. But going to school, knowing what you went to school for, will go a long way when you start practicing. We also have a project called Project Catch Them Young. We'll go to secondary school, especially the girls' secondary school, to talk to the science students, because quantity surveying is science-based. So we'll talk to them, tell them to pick up quantity surveying as a career, because we want to increase numerical strength of women in quantity surveying. That is our major strength. And to also those that are practicing already, for them to be able to take it serious and go beyond the level they are now. At least if we see women managers, directors, it will go a long way to tell the young ones, yes, we can reach that too. That is the main essence.
What do you think is the future of women participation in quantity surveying?
I see more women coming in. When I made the inquiries from the university, during my set we were about 52, but later we started dwindling that time. But now, as women are coming out, there are a lot of women, studying, girls studying quantity surveying, and we want to encourage them to continue. The strength I'm seeing that there are more coming up, and they are embracing that profession.
What is the advice for the young one?
The advice for the young one is they should look up to the mentors, those who have been there. They need to get a mentor to mentor them. A mentor mentored me, but it's not your quantity surveyor that mentored me. You only called me and said, I look at your O levels. This is good, you're science-based and you have your excellent results. Take this profession. And this is what I've taken upon myself to do. The younger ones is for them to get appointed with a mentor that will help them shape the way for them to excel in their choosing career.
Your name is ma'am?
My name is Priscilla, QS Priscilla AKABUDIKE.
Namara Yishotang.